bingo card for today. Isn't it so horrible to be right all the time about Donald Trump? Hi, Joby. Love you. It's so good to see you. And you were like the first one here. You've always been a teacher's pet. Let me pin the... Sorry, hold on. TikTok Studio's telling me to do like 10 things. Let me see how we're doing on YouTube. Oh, you guys. I know, it's a burden being right all the time. But actually, I didn't want to be right. I mean, I don't know how... Well, I think we do know how dumb you'd have to be to not understand that Trump was part of the Epstein stuff. I think we've witnessed it over and over whenever we have to hear from MAGA. But, you know, I promised my therapist I would stop watching lives on TikTok because it's like harming my mental health. But I am so curious, like, my guess, don't ruin it for me. Let me just guess. All MAGA is still supporting Trump, even though now we know for sure he's a 3PDO. Or was a part of, allegedly part of the cover up of that, or whatever you want to say. And now, like, I would love to say, because does everyone remember, like, around 2022, where, like, one of the common themes of, like, the MAGA folks whose brains don't work so good, like, on TikTok when they were debating, would be to, like, project onto the left and say that, you know, the left were full of people that hurt kids in that way. Like, I mean, that was literally their whole thing, was like, hey, it's not us, it's you. So now that you all know it is you, and it's, I mean, this is the guy they're all on their knees for 24 hours a day. Like, and believe me, we're about to have the most fun. Also, I was up on you guys, if you've been watching the People's Receipts a long time, we're on episode 117. That's crazy. Right before these huge funding bills go through, there's these debates where the minority can go to the Rules Committee and add amendments. And that happened last night. Like, most of the Democrats in the House were up all night long trying to add amendments to this absolutely unbelievable, what they call a clean CR. Is it a clean CR where the senators, and this is not a joke, I don't know if everyone's heard about this, they baked into this clean CR funding bill that just the senators too, they hung out the House to dry, their MAGA counterparts in the House, they get like $500,000 if the FBI has ever, or if the Department of Justice has ever looked at their phone records. Remember, at first the lie was they were tapping our phones, and then they got fact checked into like next week for lying about that, right? We're talking about access of date, like just a list of calls, like looking at someone's phone bill, which was subpoenaed by a grand jury. It was actually American citizens that wanted to see that. And the senators have baked in a poison pill where they get hundreds of thousands of dollars, up to millions of dollars for this. Like, we, the taxpayers, are just going to pay these weirdos. Think about it. What if the J6, what if the officers, we have people who unalived on J6, like who can no longer work because they've been, emotionally scarred and physically scarred within an inch of their lives. They have not got a dime of reparations for pain and suffering. And we're talking about people who, and I've read every court document about the fake electors, and these senators who were involved were absolutely involved. They were absolutely part of it when, of trying to pressure Mike Pence to not certify the election on January 6th. Ron Johnson, Pete Sessions, all of these people were all up there was tons of evidence that they were part of it. And they want to be paid, allegedly, in my opinion, for crimes they committed. They were helping a coup along, and they want millions of taxpayer dollars. I know. Will this lead to our Doge checks? That's funny. Like, actually, oh my God, we have so many funny things to talk about. Hold on. Let me finish one more thing on YouTube while my brain is still reads. Okay. I'm just setting up super chats. I wish I could do this automatically before the live started. Maybe I can read. Okay. Okay, we are good. Let's tap the screen. Tap, tap, tap. Tapping is clapping. Let's get to 50K as fast as possible. What is oh no. Sorry, I'm like realizing I don't have a pass key on this. Use Touch ID to sign up. Sorry, Google doesn't believe my email is mine. And that's how I can tell when people like tip me. Oh, look, I updated this. This is fun. Maybe we should do this all the time. That people can get an idea of like, I don't know why, but I mean, I'm big on transparency. Like how, but this is from Tuesday till now of our computer fund. And I'm wearing these headphones because something weird happened to my in-ear headphones yesterday, so I'll have new ones tomorrow, hopefully. But these are like block out all sound. I feel like I'm in my own. It's like the only sound I can hear is my own voice right now. Okay, got email open. We are good. Okay, so if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, and that was most of, like I said, I've been up all night listening to the debates in the Rules Committee, and the Democrats in the House have been up all night bringing amendments. And so we'll hear a lot. I mean, they were fighting for hours. And I've never seen the Republicans like this. Like, they wouldn't even fight back. Like, it was the saddest thing. If you want to read more, though, about what I was talking about over, we apparently have to pay tax senators who were involved in, like, helping a coup along on January 6th, millions of dollars. There's a New York Times article about it called "Spending Bill Would Pave Way for Senators to Sue Over Phone Searches." Yeah. But the best part is, how funny is it that it's only for the Senate? Because there were people's phone records in the House that were looked at as well. But these 50 senators, they truly are like the Roman Senate, like just bloated, greedy weirdos. Draw the eyes to the info. Okay, yeah. So spending bill would pay. And anyways, when we get into the debates in the Rules Committee, that's pretty much a huge part of what everyone was screaming about. But I want to talk about Epstein, which I none of this should be a shock to anyone. I've never been less surprised in my life about something. And the good news is, and sorry, I haven't checked. Has Adelita Grijalva been sworn in yet? Have they done it yet? Because I think they have to do it technically before they vote. It's not. They haven't done it yet. Yeah, I mean, they are going to do it today. Like as soon as before they vote, they'll have to do it. So thank God. And like we said, she is the 218th signature on the discharge petition. I'm going to get into the Epstein stuff, but what I want to say, and one of the most disturbing things, is that Trump is right now having an emergency meeting. They're trying to pressure Lauren Boebert into taking her vote, and Nancy Mace. It's not at first the rumors were Lauren Boebert's being called into the White House and they're gonna back her into a corner and get her to withdraw her signature from the discharge petition. Yeah, which smacks of innocence, right? That's what I need to do when I'm definitely not involved in a 3PDO cover-up. I have to threaten random people. Definitely have nothing to hide, but we've got to threaten and blackmail people to keep their mouths shut. Well, yeah, those exactly, Boebert and Nancy Mace. They got the two limpy gazelles, truly. And they're going to either it's either the carrot or the stick. That's probably literally happening right now. So let me get into some of this Epstein stuff. I love Brian Baez, especially when, the way he made, I think I'm going to skip around a lot. But Brian Baez, who I love and everyone should follow, it's just mentally divine. We always talk about it because he makes the best content. Watch the video he made this morning. I was like, this is giving me life. The only thing MTG ever stood up for. Well, I know. And, I've been thinking a lot about that because yesterday I was making the point that MTG's there's no healthcare plan, this now seemingly is on our side, but she voted for it. I'm actually very interested to see when this vote happens, either today or tomorrow, or whenever they finally get to the vote. I'm very interested to see. Margarine, if you don't vote no, if you don't back up everything you've been saying, then you're just a giant hypocrite. So we shall see. She better vote no. Like I said yesterday, we don't have the votes. Like, this is going to pass. So I wouldn't like waste your time hoping. And I've heard like Jared Golden of Maine, he's a Democrat, right? Isn't he a Democrat? Or is he, whatever. He's middle of the road. All these Maine people are just rhinos, like whether they're on the left or the right. I mean, there's a couple Democrats I heard that might not vote no, they might vote yes. And then there's Republicans who probably will side with the Democrats, but none of the numbers are enough, because I've been up all night watching the goings on in the Rules Committee, are enough to change anything. So let's just get mentally prepared. But again, this is related to the Epstein stuff. This is Brian Baez. If you want to follow him you can either type his name in, Brian, Baez is spelled Baez, or at Mentally Divine. He's an amazing creator. What is happening? Okay, sorry. I could not figure out why I couldn't hear anything.
Democrats have just released new emails that prove that Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's abuse and that Trump himself spent time with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Email 1 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who is his girlfriend who's spending time in jail right now. Epstein writes, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim has spent hours at my house with him. He has never once mentioned it to the police chief, etc." This email proves that Donald Trump knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and that he was also spending time with the victims himself and never said anything.
Is there an echo? Do you guys hear a bad echo? Hold on. Let me check my... There's some weird thing that turned on my computer. Like, I'd never seen it before. Hold on real quick. Is this better? Tell me if I'm going to go back and we'll start it over. Just tell me if the echo's still there. Because there was one thing I don't even know what it is on my sound mix.
About Jeffrey Epstein's abuse and that Trump himself spent time with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Email 1 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who is his girlfriend who's spending time in jail right now. Epstein writes, "I want you to..."
Hold on one second. Let me just have a little look-see at this. Because I have this is going to be reset. Sorry. I got to get to my sound mixer. Yep, everything is off. TikTok, except for TikTok Studio. This is so strange. Still really bad. Not terrible, but it's not terrible, but it's there. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out if that's something I can fix. Give me one, because I can hear it I'm listening to the live in my ears. Give me one. Let me check this sound mixer and just see. Yeah, sound effects. Echo check. Let me see some.
Realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump.
Primary, what is that? Am I on surround sound? No, I'm not. That's what I was just checking on my computer. I have it coming to my audio mixer. All the sound is going to like an external audio mixer. The speakers are set right. All the volume is off on the apps. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit like, I honestly am not sure why it would be echoing. Let me try a different video. And yeah, there's an echo test now on TikTok Studio. So I just did it with that video playing and it says there's no echo. So well, yeah, but I had the mic muted. That's why, yeah. So I was thinking that too. I was like, maybe the mic is picking up the sound or something, but I had the mic muted. Let me try one other video and you guys tell me if it's just as bad. I'm going to mute myself.
Caitlin, as you mentioned multiple times, we just don't have the context surrounding any of these emails. But that first email you read, the language absolutely jumps out to me. This is April 2nd, 2011. Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to..."
So weird, because I'm listening. May have happened when you recorded it. Yeah, and that's the strangest thing. Hold on, let me just reset something and try again, because this iPad is muted. Everything is muted. This is the weirdest thing I've ever... This one might not have an answer. All the sound is off. Yeah,
Realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, blank, and blank here
Maybe it is. Is it possible? How could it be the headphones though? That doesn't make sense. I have all of that muted, so it can't be coming out. Let me just try really quick. I'm just gonna plug in my old headphones because that's the only thing that's different. What? Maybe I had them in the wrong slot. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I had them in line out. Maybe that's why. Because otherwise, let me. Now I can't hear it. Oh, I muted it. Okay.
Who this person is. The committee is the one doing the redacting here. But obviously he is referencing someone who Jeffrey Epstein says in this email from 2011 that spent time with Donald Trump at his house.
And so we've asked headphones. Let me just try one more time and plug it and make sure I'm plugging it not into line out thing, because I think that's what was happening. I had it plugged in instead of headphones. It was plugged into line out. So that's why there's an echo. Hold on. Tell me if there's an echo now.
White House for comment on this morning. Obviously, these are emails that predate his time in office this term. They span about 15 years, this correspondence that's being released. And Trump has denied that he knew anything about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and the sex trafficking of young women. And he said that
getting really good at things like this. Okay. Skills that I never thought I would have. Okay, cool. That's what it is. I put it in line out, and that's why. Thank you guys for helping me through that. Okay, now, actually, let's do Brian Baez's, and then I'll do Caitlin Collins, who kind of gives like a more detailed discussion. But I just love Brian. This is the perfect moment for Brian Baez energy. It's just, it's so satisfying. Oh, and MAGA, yes, if you guys would like to line up and denounce your support for Trump and for someone who's involved. Really just thought I got a violation. I didn't. Everything's okay. Sorry, something is going on with, everything's fine now, but if I pause, it's just because TikTok Studio is saying I need to, because the connection is bad, even though my internet connection's fine. Yes, but again, MAGA, if you would like to get in line in the queue to this is not you tell us like you don't believe it or come up with your next creepy conspiracy theory, just in case you would like to just apologize to all of us and admit you were desperately, painfully wrong this entire time and renounce your support for Trump, you absolutely, Mark, if you don't want to be here, you can leave. This is not compulsory. If you don't like listening to me talk, my advice would be don't hang out here. Because that's all that happens here. Like, I love when men tell me not to speak. Like, do I show up at your lives you probably don't have with 5 people in them and tell you not to talk? No, I don't. I will read my grocery list for 4 hours just to piss you off, Mark. Pipe down or go away.
Democrats have just released new emails that prove that Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's abuse and that Trump himself spent time with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Email 1 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who is his girlfriend who's spending time in jail right now. Epstein writes, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim has spent hours at my house with him. He has never once mentioned it to the police chief, etc. This email proves that Donald Trump knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and that he was also spending time with the victims himself and never said anything to the police. Email number 2 is a direct correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. For people who don't know, Michael Wolff is a controversial journalist and author who has written several explosive books about Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein writes, victim at Mar-a-Lago. Of course he knew about the girls. Email 3, Michael Wolff says, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards. Jeffrey Epstein then says, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Wolff then responds, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. This email is straight up about extortion and blackmail. If Trump says that he wasn't at the house, if he wasn't on the...
I say something about this that I don't hear people talking about that's super disturbing to me. Like, I always talk about, let me just say, unless you're like a nurse or a doctor or a dentist, those people go to university for like professional schooling and they need to actually learn things that they will later use in life. The rest of us, bachelors of arts folks, we all took a lot of weird, at least I did. I took a ton of strange class. Like, I got credit for fencing. I tried to become a sword fighter in college, and I told my volleyball coach, because I was like I was on full scholarship, and I told my volleyball coach I had a class for my major, which obviously I'm just not getting a degree in sword fighting, and I told him that there was no other time, and I had to be 15 minutes late to every practice because it conflicted with a class for my major. And he showed up in my fencing class and dragged me out of there. He's like, he's like, you're a history major, and you are missing class to try to stab people. I was like, absolutely. But anyways, the reason I'm talking about random university classes, if you ask me, like, what was the most valuable class you ever took at university that you're still using the stuff you learned today? I took this class called The Sexual Abuse of People, and it was taught by like the former head of the SEX crimes division of the FBI in the Northwest. And this man was scary, but a genius. We learned about profiling and all this stuff. And one of the things we learned about when it comes to these 3PDO, if you will, rings, is that like, there's that organization, it's like NAMBLA or something. It's like something man, boy, love, it's like people who are trying to like normalize this type of like scary. Well, they operate in circles, right? Like when these types of people, like what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, was running this huge ring, there's going to be like-minded people surrounding him. What the is this? Michael Wolff? Like, let's not he needs to be investigated. Why is he giving advice to Jeffrey Epstein about blackmail, coercion, and cover-up? And how do you understand? This man is allegedly a reporter. I never understood why Trump and like Epstein were so close to this guy, and like why they were telling him all this stuff. I'm like, to me, the call is coming from inside the journalist. Like, this guy is very clearly not just someone reporting on things, but is a like-minded person strategizing with three PDOs on how to cover it up. Well, this is just my opinion when I saw this email. Here, let's repeat. Let me just go back a little bit where he's reading this. Like, what are you talking? You're a journalist giving Epstein advice on a 3PDO cover-up and how to leverage it? Like, that's, I don't know, Michael Wolff.
If he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. This email is straight up about extortion and blackmail. If Trump says that he wasn't at the house, if he wasn't on the plane, which he was, seeing his name there before, they were basically plotting to have it over Donald Trump's head and said that if he says that he wasn't there, which he was, then they can use that for political currency. Here's the beautiful part about this. Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who didn't want to swear in Adelita Grijalva, who won Arizona's 7th Congressional District 7 fucking weeks ago, is finally about to be sworn in today. And when she's sworn in, she will be the last signature on the discharge petition to force a vote to release all of the Epstein files, so we'll finally know the full fucking truth. Bitch, we haven't forgotten. Release the files.
Does that not sound a little bit concerning? Michael Wolff is very clear. Like, it sounds like he knows exactly what's going on, what Trump's role in it, what Epstein's role in it. It's common knowledge to him. This is a journalist who has knowledge of all these things. And instead of being like, hey, this is horrible, I need to go talk to the police, it's like, hey, let's game plan together about how we can keep this covered up. Like, that is some very weird. I mean, two things happen. Like, I'm very suspicious of him, in fact, being, I don't know what the words are to say, a sympathizer or someone similar to, that does things similar to Jeffrey Epstein. But now I actually think I believe him even more after I see these emails and how close. And I mean, this was what Jeffrey Epstein's like giving him PR, like, or he's giving Jeffrey Epstein advice on the cover up. Yeah, like Michael Wolff, I don't know, he's definitely involved. Thank you for the $10. Thank you, Teacher Felice, for your new computer. Thank you. But yeah, I just want to point that out because I don't hear people bringing this up. And Dolphin, thank you so much for that gift. That was so kind, by the way. That was amazing. But yeah, I think, and there is a specific, if you're like, where do I find those emails? I mean, I'm sure they're posted all over everywhere, but also there's a specific New York Times article with them like annotated that's pretty interesting as well, which I have screenshots of it somewhere. But, okay, wait, I want to figure out which part I want to go to next. Okay, about Trump being so paranoid and scared, right now, probably as we speak. At first, in the morning, Dana Bash starts reporting like, okay, like my White House contacts are telling me Trump's having like a crisis PR communications meeting about what to do about this. And think about all of this stuff too. It makes a lot of sense why all of a sudden he's pardoning everyone. The senators have baked in bribes for themselves in this. Like the wheels are falling off this grift train. And it's like almost like they're closing up shop. Trump's like, pardon anyone who knows anything about me that they could use against me. Like he is cleaning house and trying to make himself like as insulated as possible. Like, oh yeah, you could tell. Caroline Leavitt, which actually maybe, let me show you some KK Caroline just lying up a storm. Like, she's a pathological liar, but today's lies, I think, should go in some sort of record book of like, how can you even stand up there? I'd be calling in sick. I'd be like, oh, I have a stomach flu. Can't come in and lie today because it's going to be so obvious I'm a liar. And keep in mind, this is a woman, I will never stop talking about this, who wears a cross. These people are professing to love the Lord Jesus Christ, whilst they are literally right now, as we sit here, doing a 3PDO cover-up crisis PR meeting. Yeah, of course she didn't wear. Did she? Oh, that's true. She doesn't have any necklace on. Okay, I love how C-SPAN is like covering all this. Like, C-SPAN is even covering everything with Epstein. It's hilarious. This is from C-SPAN. This is from just a couple hours ago.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the
Who am I to judge? Let's see. A person whose brain works? Who am I to judge? A person who was someone called the richest, which means he's not rich at all, is asking me why I'm judging. First of all, I'm not judging. I'm stating facts. I'm saying she's the one that constantly talks about her love of the Lord Jesus Christ and is working for a pathological liar who's starving people to death. Like, let me forget about the Americans because thanks to statistical analysis, we can pinpoint, we know almost exactly how many people will unalive due to the lack of health care and the lack of SNAP. But already, I don't know if you know, there's articles that came out this weekend about the thousands and thousands of people who have unalived in Africa due to U.S. aid that was already there. They just wouldn't open the doors and give the people the food, and it rotted. We had already paid for it with our taxpayer dollars, and they just refused to give it to anyone. And thousands of people. That's Africa. Okay. Can you hear? I'm talking about taxpayer dollars. We had already spent them. I can tell the richest, your brain doesn't work so good. You haven't really made a cognizant point yet. You're just repeating things. I said it was Africa. That's where the majority of U.S. aid goes to. We had already paid for it. It was already there. The food was there in the storehouses. All we had to do was open the doors. So you're asking me why I think, I don't know, let's just say there are pathological liars in the executive branch who are grifting, who have enriched themselves to the tunes of billions and billions of dollars, while Americans are starving and while aid we already paid for, which you don't understand how the government works, but the legislative branch is the appropriator. The only legal appropriator of any taxpayer dollars lies with the legislative branch. Trump has broken the law and violated the Constitution countless times since he's been in office a second time. He did it the first time as well, but continues to do it and uses our tax dollars to do it. And you're wondering why I should say that or care about it? If I get it, you're a cuck. And Gavin Newsom is selling knee pads. So whilst you're down there on your knees, assing off an orange clown who's stealing from you, literally has his hand in your pocket and is stealing from you, make sure you get some knee pads so you can be comfortable. Truly, Gavin Newsom is selling them. They're sold out right now because they're in such high demand. But while you're on your knees 24/7, it will probably get uncomfortable. I was a college volleyball player, so I know a lot about knee pads. So make sure you get yourself some, sir. Like, how embarrassing for you. I can promise you. And also, thank you for the engagement. Every time you comment something idiotic, it just boosts my live. Like, you'll never catch me in a MAGA live commenting anything because I understand how the internet works. No, thank you, truly. Please, thank you for continuing to contribute to the success of this live and showing everyone how dumb you are. Anyways, this is the last warning. I do think you need to be here because you don't know what's going on and you could learn something, but I have to be able to focus. So if you continue distracting people by being generically idiotic, I will block you. The thing is, MAGA, oh my God, that's not the correct subject-verb agreement. The thing is, MAGA don't have to go live to validate we are comfy with our person. Of course, did I not say, hey, die on that hill. Literally, like, that's the wrong, this is a person who's involved in a cover-up, a 3PDO cover-up, and you're like 10 toes down for it. We know who you are. The alarm bells are ringing. This guy is absolutely fine with the cover-up. No, he's not. Anyways, let's move along. That's not how bots work. Bots can't respond to conversations in real time. That's not how bots work. I will block him. I will. See, that's all y'all say about him. Okay, cool. Good. Why don't you have any evidence? Now, this would be the point where you disprove something I said, where you're like, actually, it's not true. Trump hasn't been grifting and stealing from the American people. But every single thing I said is a fact. Every single thing you've said is a feeling that you have. Right? I validate all of your big feelings. You're a very emotional man, feeling a lot. It's just none of it is true. Where's my evidence? That's what I do on the people's receipts. I'm a former historical researcher. That's how I got extra money in college. All I do on here is provide receipts. But anyways, where's your evidence? Like, I can't help all these people. I'm going to have to block him because he's too dumb. Johnny, hi, thank you for the pretty galaxy. 9 followers. God, the richest. I mean, you got 9 people following you. Jesus is king. Yep. Jesus would be so proud of you on your knees and justifying a 3PDO cover-up. Like, praise the Lord. I'll never get enough of these people. Dear Lord. Okay, he's gone. I had to block him. That was embarrassing for him. We don't want him to... You guys, if you are, and I know MAGA, most of you are super happy and fine with co-signing and standing 10 toes down on a 3PDO cover-up. Like, I truly think you guys should be like a little quieter about it, though. It's super disturbing. You guys are like, I'm here to loudly yell that I don't give a about children, which we already knew that. We knew that. I'll never forget how you guys got on your knees and sobbed for Charlie Kirk, and a week and a half before, you say Jesus is king in a Catholic school. These kids were just trying to go to mass, and they were pew-pewed. Kids were throwing their bodies on their friends to save their lives, and you guys didn't care. So I guess, yeah, if you don't care about that, should I be shocked you don't care about this? Absolutely not. Like, literally, absolutely not. Oh, you don't care if children are essayed? Shocking. Absolutely shocked.
Emails were made public. Can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was
I'm sorry. We're going to have to just block. I don't know where all of you weirdos came from. To say people didn't care is wild and disgusting. He just said that. See, this also proves my point that MAGA can't read. That guy I just blocked said that. That's what he said. He wrote that in his comment, that he's fine with our guy and he does not care about this. He said it. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You were talking about him. That's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought I got confused. I was like, I care. He literally was like, Trump's my guy. Which right before this live, Chris, like who debates or whatever, he was texting me and I was like, watch, I'm going to go live and these people are going to be defending Trump. They don't care. If you've ever wondered if these people care about children, just know they don't. Like, check all of these people. That man's hard drive needs to be examined. Like, truly, somebody should go keep an eye on that guy. He's like, Trump's my guy. Cool.
Redacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it. Virginia Guffrey. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Guffrey maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a who has already publicly made statements.
Why they chose to redact the name, the whole thing. It's like, honestly, and I don't know. It's, oh God, she's not smart. How, and I've said this before, I publicly apologize to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I thought you were dumb and a bad press secretary. What was that? Kayleigh McEnany? I thought she was the dumbest press secretary of all time. But I apologize to all the other Republican press secretaries who I previously thought were dumb. I really didn't know, like, how low we could sink with idiocy. Oh yeah, bring back Sean Spicer. Actually, hire, what's that woman's name? Melissa McCarthy, so she can do her Sean Spicer impression. That's what we need, is Melissa McCarthy pretending to be Sean Spicer. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When she had like the podium around her neck. It was like on Saturday Night Live, and she has like the podium around her neck, like a strap. It is like, oh my God, that was one of the best impressions in my life. If you guys miss Sean Spicer, he's like on Newsmax, I'm pretty sure. Or is it Newsmax? He's on one of those far right, like, pathological lying network. Like, he's still out there. He's out in the wild. Oh, I know. Those were the days. Remember when we thought things were bad back then? Oh, to go back to the Sean Spicer days. Like, now things are really bad. We've got to explain to MAGA men why it's bad to diddle children now. That's where we're at now. Like, and you could see it. Do you see these people? They're like, how do I justify this? How do I justify the abuse of children? Like, I'm in complete cognitive dissonance. I'm fine with Trump robbing me. Everything's fine. I just, like, that's what they're doing. They're not like, holy shit, I need to reevaluate my life. They're like, how am I going to spin this? How am I going to spin this? And that's what she's doing. If you listen to what she's saying, she's like, I can't believe the Democrat Party, it's Democratic Party. For the last time, MAGA, learn to use adjectives correctly. It's Democratic Party. When it's describing a noun, it's Democratic. But literally, she's sitting here saying, how could they redact the names? That was their original argument. Because my brain works pretty good. I still remember when they were first trying to come up with fake reasons to not release the files, they said, well, we have to protect the victims. We have to protect the victims. We can't put their names out. And that's when Ro Khanna and, oh my God, who's the guy from Kentucky that votes against the Republicans every time? Wait, Thomas Massey. Thank you. Okay, got it. Thomas Massey were like, no, of course we're going to redact any and every victim's name. And she's mad that they didn't leave victims' names. That's how desperate and off a normal line of logic she is. She's saying that the Democratic Party, because I do know the difference between an adjective and a noun, is horrible for redacting Virginia Giuffre's name. I thought that was like what we all agreed upon should happen, but apparently not. And then I love how, wait, hold on. Let's listen to a little more because I'm going to make this point.
About her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you, Galen. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it.
Can you imagine, though? And I just want to say this, like, not all of these people have narcissistic personality disorder. But that is the terrifying thing about capitalism. It's almost like narcissism is a defense against capitalism. The entire executive branch is operating by, like, DARVO. You know that acronym about, like, narcissistic abusers? DARVO? Hold on. Let me, I'm good. I know it, but I'm about to say it wrong, so let me get it. Yeah, think about this. Like, I was raised by a much more intelligent, malignant narcissist than Donald Trump or any of these other losers. Like, mine is definitely a chess player, mine. My mommy is definitely meaner and smarter than Trump. But DARVO is a manipulative tactic used by those who have done wrong to avoid responsibility. It's an acronym, MAGA. Look up that word. It's big for you. It's when, letters stand for other words. Standing for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. Is like, think about that. Her entire PR strategy is gaslighting. I'm sorry I didn't see who. Someone correctly in the comments was like, this is gaslighting. This is literally DARVO. She was trained by narcissists to gaslight and lie to the American people. It's their literal tactic. You deny it, you attack, instead of being repentant, because real narcissists have no effective empathy. Like, I can watch my mom. I can be crying in front of her and begging for her acceptance, and I can literally just see her eyes wandering like to the TV. Like, she does not care. She has no sympathy. There's no empathy. She's just like, oh, Jesus, is this over? Like, you're going to keep going? And so deny, and then you go on the attack. Like, anytime I've ever been like, hey, can you take some accountability for X, Y, or Z? Immediately, I don't know what you're talking about. And then, but you did this to me. Then she attacks me and brings up something else, which is always like, reactive abuse. Yes, you drive me insane until I react. And when I react, it is terrifying. That is true. And reverse victim and offender. That's always, the Republican, like, political communication strategy is actually abusive DARVO gaslighting. Like, if you feel like you're being abused, you are. And that's why I find MAGA idiots, men. Can you imagine? Remember last Friday when I did that whole live of what's the right flank of, and the whole point of that was, hey, it's not the right flank. They're all in the White House and they hate women. Like, truly, Truly, that's what's going on. And then we have these MAGA who, like, they can't even think. Like, that is why they want to stop women from voting. That is why they cling to the Bible and Christian nationalism. Because, like, whatever happened to a meritocracy? Why MAGA are you guys so, like, useless? And you can barely read, can't do math, can't figure out what's going on, can't correctly identify when you're being robbed. And then instead of being like, man, I really do love a meritocracy, and I'm going to compete. I'm going to read. I'm going to learn to do some math, and I'm going to compete with all of the women in America who are much smarter than me and more capable and multitasking and doing 800 things at once. Nope, they'd rather just hold the Holy Bible and use it to bring back the Salem witch trials. That's, like, you guys are mediocre on your best day, and I can smell the mediocrity on MAGA men. Like, some guy screamed at me in a bowling alley in Colorado about, it's not all men, it's women too. And I'm like, well, statistically, that's not correct, sir. I was like, I do validate your feelings. Like, always just tell MAGA men that it's okay to feel their feelings, because they get even more angry. And you saw that. I love feelings, by the way. Emotions are fine. This is just me gaslighting MAGA men back. You saw how that guy that was in the comments, the richest, what was he doing? He's like, oh, you're crashing out. You're emotional. I'm listing facts, and you are scrambling around trying to figure out how to make me stop because you're melting when you have to hear the truth. Like, you guys reek of insecurity. Truly. And the irony of MAGA men is, like, just own that. Like, I'm insecure. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally unstable. I have so many faults. Like, there is power in just owning who you are. And once you learn that and you really are okay with who you are, I've done horrible things. Like, for like after I quit sports, that was, in looking back, the only thing that was keeping me behaving like a sane person. And then I went nuts for like 10 years, and I was just a monster to even be around. Like, that's why I go to therapy so much now, is because I'm trying to, like, atone and understand and take accountability. Like, there is power in owning your shit, because nobody can keep throwing it in your face. That's the problem with MAGA men, which is also indicative of the Republican Party. If Trump would just be like, yeah, here's the truth, here's what happened, you know what I'm saying? It takes away anyone's power. But that's the problem with narcissists. That moment never comes. Never. Like, the closest I've ever got is by Bob. Oh my God, one time my parents had to come to therapy with me, and the psychiatrist is like, okay, obviously you're not my patient. I'm just gonna, based on what, I've worked with Felice. This is one of the people that I had to go to PTSD camp because I literally have PTSD. It's like I've been through a war dealing with my parents. And he's like, yes, I think that one of you is a narcissist, has narcissistic personality disorder. He didn't like directly point at my mother. And he's like, and one of you, it's very common for people with disordered brains, for, people with borderline personality disorder to pair off with narcissists. My parents are terrifying. Two very terrifying people. And do you know what my mom did at that moment? Do you think she took any accountability? Like, watching Trump is like watching, well, a dumber version of my mother. No, she immediately points at my father, no joke, and goes, it's you're the narcissist, and tries to gaslight my dad into confessing that he's a narcissist. Like, my dad has empathy. He's definitely not. But, like, there is no truth that is ever coming from Donald Trump. And as long as you are like some MAGA man running cover for a 3PDO, like, you don't have a leg to stand on. Like, if you come into the live and I'm just an honest person, like, hey, like, I've been supporting this guy, like, I feel like my personality is tied to it. I'm scared that, like, if all this falls down, who am I now? Like, those are the types of things I can engage with and understand. But as long as you continue gaslighting and pretending like nothing horrible is happening to America, to children inside America, like, you are always going to look like a fool. Like, that, if there's one thing I've learned, the most powerful thing you can do is take accountability. And it actually diffuses, people can't use shit against you. Like, I love taking accountability.
Just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it
A quiz, let's review, because my memory works and I'm not a pathological liar. Now, who is it that met with the victims and validated their existence and has been trying to help them? Let me see. Who was that? It was not MAGA. That's who it was. Like, what? The only thing, and I've talked about, this is personal for me. That's why I talk so personally about it, because I was essayed as a child. Like, this is very personal. If there's any victims of anything I've ever cared about, it is this. Like, literally the projection. Like, this is a terrifying, manipulative, abusive tactic that she uses. Like, hey, I'm describing myself and what MAGA is guilty of, and I'm going to point my finger at my enemy and accuse them of what I've very clearly done, and we can research the timeline of.
is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing?
No. No, child. I feel like she's a child. Like kids having kids. Does anyone remember when she had a baby and was like at work the next day? And I don't want to I don't want to start feeling empathy for her because she behaves in such awful ways. And remember when I showed you guys what she used to look like? Like the face she has now, if you've been watching the People's Receipts, is a different face than she used to have. And she is married to a guy who is like 35 years older than her. It's like, I don't want to say I have empathy for her, but I think she's in a very, very, very bad situation. Like she's married to this like creepy old man who has all the money and power and is friends with Trump. And then just if you don't remember, I have it somewhere, but I'm not going to look it up. You should see like what she used to look like and what she looks like now. Like, and I'm saying, listen, gender affirming care, like one of my favorite things about MAGA is their absolute commitment to gender affirming care, but nobody else can have it. Apparently you can only do gender affirming care if you're a straight, insecure MAGA person, but if you're gay, you can't do, or if you're trans, you can't do gender affirming care. Do you guys get where I'm going with this? This is gender affirming care. Remember when I showed Kristi Noem used to look like a washed up, like rode hard, put away wet, like I don't even know what to call it. Like, do you remember that hair women had, like moms had in like the late 90s, where it was like almost spiky on the top, and then it was she looked like you. No, she looks nothing like me. She definitely didn't have long hair. Yes, K+8. Okay, exactly. Like early K+. Thank you. See, people already know what Kristi Noem looked exactly like early Kate Gosselin, like hairstyle, exact. And then did a bunch of gender affirming care, as she continues to do. The gender affirming care never stops. But hey, trans people, don't try to do any gender affirming care, because MAGA's busy taking up all the hormones, all the T-gel, all the testosterone. all the estrogen, all of the filler, all of the implants, all of the rhinoplasties. Yeah, there's just that, maybe that's why. Like, why don't any of you look like you used to? You guys look insane. I am not claiming to be good looking, but I have never like done anything to my face. I'm excited though. I feel like I'm excited to get started. It's just too expensive to start putting all that. Like, I can't afford it, but I'm not saying I never would. I just haven't yet. I think it's very greedy and very ironic that MAGA engages in gender affirming care 24 hours a day. If you watch these red pill bro podcasts, all they're doing is like, it's okay, man. Like, when I turned 30, I didn't feel like a man. And then I just got on some T-gel. And now I feel like a man. And it's like, yeah, that's probably why you went bald too. Like, testosterone, large amounts of testosterone causes male pattern baldness. Like, literally. So, just saying, you're probably not helping yourself having hair. But these people can have gender affirming care, the same medications, the same prescriptions, the same fillers, everything is fine when they do it and make themselves look like aliens, but it's not fine if the trans community would like to self-actualize. And that's because the Bible, according to them. That's nearest we could tell. It's because the Bible. Okay, here's another clip of Caroline Levitt lying. I swear I would have called in sick today. I'm surprised. I give her actually credit for showing up to tell these lies.
Given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That's a defining factor of transparency.
Takes her cross off when she lies. Kai in the comments like, where's her cross? We already talked about this. You're a little late to we've already examined it. Like, when she tells her worst lies, the cross is never on. Like, truly, the cross disappeared. It was burning. Yeah, it was causing her too much pain. It was literally burning a hole into her skin, so she had to take it off. Well, she tells these lies. What is she talking about? So let me get this straight. And I just want to be clear on the reporting, and I have the clip and I can play it. Early this morning, because I was thinking, like, maybe I'll take a day off. I don't feel so good. I'm on, like, antibiotics and lung steroids again. I don't, and then I saw what was happening, and I was like, oh, never mind. I have to do this. But early this morning, Dana Bash was, CNN, I believe, I could be wrong, is the first people to break this story, that they had been told directly that there was a meeting first with Lauren Boebert, and later it revealed they were bringing Nancy Mace as well. It is not to have an open door policy with the dumbest people in Congress. It is to blackmail and cajole and coerce them into taking their names off the discharge position. And I get it. I'm just a woman with a tiny brain. Which, what does that say about MAGA? If my brain doesn't work so good, give up, MAGA. Give up. Pack it in. But I do think that it is a little counterintuitive to innocence to spend an entire day in the executive branch game planning of how to blackmail and coerce people into taking their names off the discharge petition. Like, that, does that scream innocent to anyone else? Does it scream innocence? And let's also do one of my favorite thought experiments. Picture in your mind right now if this was Joe Biden. If Joe Biden has done all of these things we are now talking about, MAGA would have pitchforks on the White House lawn. Actually, I think the left would, we would beat you to it. we probably would beat you to we'd beat you to it. But I just want to point out, everyone picture in your head, if this was Joe Biden, yeah, you guys would be, oh my God, if it was Barack Obama, oh my God, can you imagine? I'd be scared. I'd be like, you need to flee the country. Yeah, like, everyone just picture in your mind if this was a Democrat. And let me just say, for the sake of doing that, this is why. Like all the people on the left, which I think are the moderates, I'm loving what I call the new left, which are the majority of the Democratic base is now progressive. Like, this is why I don't like Bill Clinton. And when I was, oh God, never say never, but I don't think working on presidential campaigns is for me. But when I was helping Kamala Harris's campaign in Arizona for free, I've never been paid for political views in my life. And I went to a speech that Bill Clinton was giving. He didn't know Kamala Harris's name. Like 102 times he mispronounced her name, which sounds like a small thing, but I think it's very indicative of who Bill Clinton is. Someone who's only interested in doing creepy things and doing shitty things to women. Like, you can't even figure out the candidate's name. I know, Andy, that was a fun time, not for my PTSD and anxiety. It was fun doing that the highlight was seeing Obama in person and seeing how people think like Obama's like the Pope in real life. Like people believe if they touch him that their like cancer will be healed. That was probably the coolest part. But anyways, but I digress. So whatever. Let's just every time you see Caroline Leavitt, think of the irony of all MAGAs doing gender affirming care that they stop other people from doing. Because that's what the Constitution says. Only, right-wing bigots should have access to gender affirming care.
Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room in the press briefing room. Reagan.
Given your interest in transparency, Caroline.
God, yeah, great job. You're doing a great job not ever being able to look yourself in the mirror for the rest of your life. I cannot. Okay, let me show you the Dana Bash clip I'm talking about. Actually, it probably has the time on it. Okay, it was 11 a.m. when they posted this, so it was early. Yeah, her show is before noon. That's true. Okay, this is the clip I'm talking about. Tap the screen. Let's get to 200K.
Breaking news, CNN has learned there will be a meeting today inside the White House as aides try to manage a potential House vote on the release of the Epstein files. This comes, of course, just hours after Democrats on the Oversight Committee released emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself mentioning Donald Trump.
Do you think it's strange because Donald Trump is definitely innocent, right? Like, I think MAGA, I'm with you. All the evidence, it's got to all be fabricated, all of the evidence that he's not innocent. And when I'm an innocent person, the first thing I do is engage in a cover-up to stop people from getting the evidence that would then prove I'm innocent. That's what I always like to do. Hey, I'm innocent. I'm 100,000% innocent, and I would like to stop people from releasing the information that will prove my innocence. That's MAGA's logic. Like, are you with me, MAGA? Do you understand irony and sarcasm? Is that something that you figured out? I don't know if toddlers can understand that. But it is a strange thing to do for a 1,000% innocent man to engage in a cover-up. And be like, hey, the only proof that will prove my innocence, I want to make sure no one ever sees it. Because I'm so innocent that no one ever needs to see the proof. Yeah, that makes... In MAGA, let me help you with this. If that makes sense to you, you are either in cognitive dissonance or I'm concerned for how your brain is working and how those neurons are firing, or it's a combination of both. Or you're complicit, or you love Trump because you're like, see, it's totally normal to do horrible things to kids. Like, whichever one it is, or a combination of all, it's gross.
By name multiple times. I want to get straight to CNN's Caitlin Polance. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Well, the House is releasing these files, but it's not everything that the federal government has. Dana, there's additional files still held by the Justice Department that some Republicans on Capitol Hill are in support of releasing. And so that is causing a political response inside the White House right now, where there is a meeting planned, or was a meeting planned today, about the House effort effort to try and force a vote to get the Justice Department, the Trump administration, to release the rest of the FBI files, the Justice Department files, everything from years of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and others, things that have not seen the light of day yet. What one source tells me, we have multiple sources confirming that this meeting is happening, but what one source tells me is that this meeting was planning to include some key figures from the Justice Department, the FBI Director Kash Patel, the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and then one of those Republicans in support of transparency, Republican Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado. So what might happen at this meeting if Boebert could be swayed in a different direction on wanting
just gonna tell Lauren Boebert he's innocent and he's excited for the files to come out. Oh, I'm sorry. I just have to address another idiot in the comments. Whose name? Well, look, I know you don't probably know Yiddish, but your name is probably like a little bit of anti-Semitic, so you should probably change it. I don't even want to say it, but I don't like it. Biden had them for an entire year and nothing. Giant 3 laughy faces. Oh. Checkmate, you got me. I have no response to that because you're so right that I'm retiring as a streamer. I will know the People's Receipts ends at 117 episodes. There's no very logical line of logic that you could follow that would make you understand that nothing you say makes any sense. I mean, is it coming to you now? Are you understanding why that doesn't make sense? Let me help you. One of Trump's biggest violations of the social contract, the Constitution, and the rule of law has been to behave as if, to weaponize the Department of Justice, to have the FBI director and whatever, and Pam, I literally am doing the backstroke in the swamp and was quite literally a lobbyist for Middle Eastern countries and their corruption. Bondi, right? And have them in cabinet meetings. Let me help you with how America used to function before it was a corrupt fascist takeover of idiots who can't read and write, this is an indictment of you. You don't know what you're talking about. Prior to Donald Trump's second term, and we know in his first term, because I can read court documents, that he was already trying his best to do it. No real president who understands ethics involves themselves in anything going on in the DOJ. You don't go have a peek at files. You don't say, hey, this guy pissed me off once. I want you to ruin his life and prosecute him. All of the things Trump has done would be unbelievably inappropriate and illegal in the past. There used to be complete separation between the Department of Justice and the President of the United States until we got corrupt, creepy, hey, no gay or trans people wearing makeup. The only man who could wear makeup every day is the man in the White House, because that also makes perfect sense. Yeah, nothing you're saying, you're proving my point that Joe Biden was acting correctly. Joe Biden was not poking around in the Department of Justice and telling them who to indict, which was infuriating for the rest of us. That is actually the problem, and trust me, because I've read every available court document about Trump. If there's anything I'm frustrated with, it's that he was so concerned with protecting the, let's say, as he referred to it, the quote unquote American institutions, that he would not meddle in anything. He went out of his way to the point where we should have prosecuted Trump. These people did a coup. Like, the evidence is there. If you can read, you can't, so you don't know. And he's like, yeah, like, we need to be 10,000% sure everything goes by the book, no matter how long it takes. And yeah, I honestly, if there's one criticism I have of Joe Biden, he's way too good of a person. And he had been in politics too long. And he remembered this like bygone era of, hey, like, we can all get along and everything's going to be okay. And this is why, and I should at some point, before we all unalive together, I'm going to show, not that we're in like some Heaven's Gate cult, but just saying, I talked about this last week, I think on episode 115. When you watch people that were raised in Trumpism, like Adam Mockler, who, works for the Midas Touch Network, they operate differently. The only form of politics these younger people have ever known is a dogfight with a narcissist lacking empathy, and we all have to take that posture. And I've seen both sides of politics, but my thing is I was raised by a malignant narcissist, so I understand they will not stop until you stop them. If there's one thing I've said since I've been on TikTok, it's like, anybody who still has that, and I love Joe Biden. He was such a sweet man who wanted to unite the country, and he did amazing things for the economy by letting very intelligent people do what they do best. But we're not holding hands across the aisle anymore. We can't accept pathological lies and idiocy and grifting and transfers of wealth to the top of the economy any longer. Please don't let the trolls dominate the chat. Wait, who is it? Who needs to be blocked? I'll block whoever. Just tell me who. Is somebody ruining your experience? I love you. Who's being mean so I can block them? Which one? List names. They will get blocked. Dirty. Oh, the guy whose name is a slur against Jewish people. Yeah, let me find him. I'll get rid of him. Oh, there he is. I love when idiots put a bunch of laugh faces in the comments they're not idiot. I hope you're laughing at yourself. Truly, I hope you're. I just muted him. I actually didn't block him, but he's muted for the entire live. If there's another one, just tell me in the comments or have a mod. There's got to be someone. Cope harder. Yeah, I'm coping. I'm stating facts, and you're crying in the comments, distracting people. Again, I'm a former second grade teacher, so yeah, you would be in the hallway. You would not be in class any longer. You don't, and here's the thing, MAGA, if you believe that you sound smart, or you're nailing it with this comment, we are embarrassed. The secondhand embarrassment I feel for MAGA men at this point knows no bounds. How can you not be embarrassed? How can you guys even be out here writing in the comments today? You guys should be literally slinking away in shame and reevaluating your lives. Oh, you know what that would take? Self-awareness and intelligence. That's why you're here. You are too dumb to know when you got. By the way, Trisha, thank you so much for the $25. Happy to see you back. Thank you for your work. Let all of the 3 PDOs and their protectors burn. Amen, including the ones in the comments. Are you okay? No. Darren, thank you so much for the $30 for the computer. I will add the totals in. I wish I had a total that updated. New computer, keep up the good work. Exactly. Yeah, they can't think critically. I would not be in these they're I'm here to defend a man who we now know unequivocally knew about a 3 PDO ring. I'm here and not just here to defend him, but I'm gonna terribly gaslight people. You guys are not well.
Transparency here. That is all something that is going to be at issue and that the White House is clearly concerned about, having discussions about it. On top of that, Dana, another thing to remember here is that the Justice Department has tried many different ways to distract from releasing the full Justice Department files. They tried to get grand jury records out there. Blanche talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, a co-conspirator in Florida. When Ghislaine spoke to Todd Blanche, she told him that Trump himself never acted inappropriately, and she never saw anything untoward in any way toward underage girls. Dana?
Again, only MAGA, you guys don't know this. So actually, if I were you guys, I wouldn't be so annoying and just listen, and you could probably learn something, and it might help you in your arguments. You know what else came out this weekend, but, you'd have to be able to read to have read it. Do you know that Ghislaine Maxwell has a puppy in her minimum security prison, and she has a concierge service? She's literally, she's perjured herself over and over, for sure. I've read the court documents of her trial. She definitely has perjured herself over and over. She has a concierge service. We're talking about a child trafficker that creepy MAGA men in the comments are I'm here to reveal myself as a sympathizer for 3 PDOs. She has she got bribed. Are you guys okay? Can you not figure this out? just say, like, I'm also one and that's why I defend Trump. Like, you guys just need to be honest about who you are, because my brain works really well, and I think all the time, like, what's going on with these people? Like, they have to have daughters, like, they have to have, like, you all had a mother, and you're here to support Trump in his time of 3PDO cover-up. Like, cool. You guys are awesome. Okay, this is Rokana talking about, and now I saw someone said, it said that Adelita Grijalva was just sworn in, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because now they're going to vote on this stupid bill that's going to ruin that's going to continue to rob us and take away our leverage. People don't forget Chuck Schumer. We will never forget. But, oh wait, sorry, I just got an email. I have not read this, and sometimes I don't do this often, but I'm going to read it. The New York City Council approves plan that could bring 14,700 homes to Queens. And if you don't understand why that's a big deal, it's a multifaceted thing, but we need affordable housing in New York. 14,700 homes just to the Queens borough, which that's what we need in America, is more housing inventory, right? This is why we have, like, Section 8 lines for, like, years. No, and I'm saying this because, when MAGA is not in my comments crying and defending 3PDOs, the other hobby they have is terrorizing brown people who are from the global South, like Mom Donnie. And their whole thing has been, Kathy Hochul is not going to help Mom Donnie. She said she won't raise taxes. That's the governor of New York, if you don't know who I'm talking about. And so every single thing he wants to do is never going to happen. Well, it looks like increasing the amount of available homes in Queens was by 14,700, which, if you've ever been to the 5 boroughs, you understand how significant that is, will bring prices down. So he's already done something, and it seems like the city council is in fact with him. But I would like to point this out, because I always like to point out how MAGA could not follow a line of logic to save their lives. MAGA's logic is Mom Donnie wanted to do all of these things, and because Republicans and moderate Democrats are not going to help him do it, then he's a liar. It's the same thing they did to Obama. Let me help you. No matter how many times you say, that's Obama's Affordable Care Act, and look how bad it is, look how messed up it is. No, Obama's plan for healthcare was universal healthcare. It was Medicare for all. That was the original plan. And then what happened is lobbyists, billionaires, and donors to Republicans chopped that thing up within an inch of its life. And that's what it looks like now. After the Republicans, they call it negotiation. I call it like a chop shop job. Every bad thing about the Affordable Care Act is because of Republicans, period. And let me help you. If some person is like running for, I don't know, let's say New York City mayor, and says, here's what I would like to do, and then a bunch of S-bags, Republicans and billionaires and lobbyists and governors try to stop him from accomplishing his goals, that does not mean it's his fault. That still means it's Republicans' fault. Do you I can't, I just love Republicans trying to be like, oh, he's not going to be able to do what he said he's going to do, so he's a liar. No, you guys are horrible weirdos who for some reason don't want people in New York City to live a life they can afford, which, yeah, I think that's a psychological issue.
Well, look, we're going to get the 218th signature today. That means by early December, we're going to get a full vote on the Epstein files. And today there were bombshell emails that came out showing that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had emails about Donald Trump's knowledge of what was going on. So we need a full release of the files. Finally, that's going to happen.
Are you concerned, though, that the Senate may not pass this? I mean, and maybe the Trump Department of Justice won't even comply if the bill goes through?
Not if we get a huge vote here in the House. I mean, I believe we're going to get 40, 50 Republicans voting with us on the release. And if we get that kind of overwhelming vote, that's going to push the Senate, and it's going to push for a release of the files from the Justice Department.
And then on the shutdown, how concerned are you that there's still...
Let's talk about that, because that's the interesting part. You know, Caroline, which bless her heart, and when I was in my 20s, I was a S show too, so whatever. You know, like, she doesn't get it. She's like, this is a political tactic. Isn't it weird they released them on the day that everyone's going to vote for this spending bill? It's not about that. That's not what it's about. The House is back in session, right? And Trump is going to try to... Trump has two goals: to force this insane spending bill through, which, refunds the government and continues to ruin America's lives. But also, second thing is, because in order to vote, Mike Johnson has to call the House back into session. This was going to happen. The discharge petition, Adelita Grijalva was going to be the 218th signature, and he needs to make sure this stops. So what's a good way to encourage people to not back off their signatures? Like Lauren right now, Trump is trying to blackmail and coerce Boebert and Nancy Mace to get off the petition. What's a good way to prevent that is by showing some proof, right? Like, hey, we already know this stuff. I think it's brilliant, because that's the truth. Like, Trump is going to throw every single thing he has, every fear tactic, every coercion tactic, every blackmail tactic at two of the dumbest people I've seen in my life be elected to Congress. So releasing these emails is to show the American people, to show constituents, like, hey, we're not just fighting for this for no reason. And it's so strange, because MAGA keeps saying that they care about children. And every time you have a chance to prove it, you get on your knees to give a Andrew Jackson / BJ to a guy who says men shouldn't wear makeup but constantly has makeup on. I will never understand a thing about MAGA.
A path to solving this problem with the ACA subsidies?
I'm very concerned. I mean, look, we have to do this again in January. We should be talking to people like Michael Lawler, a Republican who said, I'm open to a one-year extension. Kevin Colley has said that he's open to some kind of extension. We should be working on a bipartisan solution that will extend those credits.
You've called on Senator Schumer to step aside as leader of the Democrats. Obviously, that's the other chamber. But do you feel that House Democrats kind of got a raw deal here, because you guys have been taking the hard votes and constantly these Democrats in the Senate kind of let you guys down?
I think the American people got a raw deal. 20 million Americans are going to see their premiums skyrocket. I don't think they like the fact that we didn't fight hard enough. This wasn't about making healthcare an issue. This was about making sure people's premiums aren't going up. I met someone whose father's a taxi driver in Arizona. His premium is going to go up from $44 a month to $2,600 a month, and he has cancer. For some Americans, this is going to be a death sentence. So we need to meet the moral moment, and we didn't.
You said 40 to 50 Republicans?
I think we could get 40 to 50 Republicans once it's on the floor of the House, because people are not going to want to vote against the release of the Epstein files. But it's going to be historic. Today we get the tournament.
And that's the truth. Now we'll know who are the 3 PDO sympathizers that are going to help Trump cover it up. Like, that's the truth. That's why they released those emails today, which, by the way, I'm waiting at any moment. Do you guys know that's not all they're releasing? They are releasing more emails. And I've heard, I love Robert Garcia, former mayor of Long Beach, but Robert Garcia, since he's been in the House, because you guys know I'm like a connoisseur of Capitol Hill. The Secret Service name for Capitol Hill is Punchbowl. That's why, if you want to be obsessed with Congress and what they're up to, like I am, 10 of 10 recommend Punchbowl News, which is like started by Jake Sherman. It's amazing. And like, I mean, that's literally the truth. That's why they had to release these emails, because Trump is going to threaten everyone to not vote for it when the vote comes. And now we know he lied. I mean, I will just say, I can't believe that Well, I don't believe, is what I should say, that MAGA is so dumb they couldn't understand that he was always part of this. Like, how dumb are you to not get that? Is this the behavior of someone who's innocent? That's what I do when I'm 100% innocent and there are thousands of pages of evidence that could exonerate me. I'm like, no one can ever see the evidence that proves I didn't do anything. We must cover it up forever. Yes, that's what innocent people are constantly doing, is covering up the evidence that can exonerate them. Hey, Bennett. He said he wasn't involved. Exactly. Like, it's like, MAGA, are you okay? And I think they are okay. I think the truth is, MAGA doesn't really care about children. They never have. They don't care about women. They don't want us to be able to vote. They're all like, if I was an insecure man whose brain didn't work so good, I too would embrace Christian nationalism. And every time, like people ask me why I'm a bigot, I just hold up the Bible and say, men are in charge of the household or whatever. Yeah, if that helps you feel like you have some sort of power, keep saying it. Like, it's so... Oh, this is good. Wait, where is it? Oh, first of all, let me show you guys. Have you guys seen this? This is Trump. In other words, the Democrats are using the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to try and deflect from their massive failures. Darvo projection. Okay, abuser. You're blaming the victims. Okay, cool. In particular, their most recent one, the shutdown. Oh, I almost believe you're innocent, because this is exactly the opposite of what an innocent person would do and say. Yes, exactly. We all think you're definitely innocent. So Ro Khanna, who is Crystal Ball's husband? Is it Kyle Kulinski? I don't know. She's married to another very famous, brilliant man. Is it Kyle Kulinski? Who is she married to? I think it's Kyle Kulinski. Yeah. This is one of my favorite brains in politics, and does no one know what I'm talking about? I know you guys don't hang out on YouTube. Okay. I think it's Kyle Kulinski. I'll look it up after this. This is today, a couple hours ago.
What's your reaction to what we learned today? So we had emails from Jeffrey Epstein saying, first of all, of course, Trump knew about what was going on with the girls because he told Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. He also claimed that Trump had spent hours with one of the victims. You also see him strategizing with Michael Wolff about a potential question to Donald Trump in the debates during 2015. Those questions didn't end up getting asked, but in any case, interesting to see them strategizing back and forth. You see them talking about how surprised they are that Trump hasn't been brought up in the context of Jeffrey Epstein in a more significant way, given their longstanding ties. So what is your reaction to the content of these emails?
Well, this whole Epstein class needs to go. The issue in American politics isn't left or right. It's, are you for working, ordinary Americans, or are you for this Epstein class? And this is what's so important about those emails. It's not just rich and powerful men who may have abused and raped young girls. It's a lot of rich and powerful people who knew that the abuse was going on and did nothing about it, and actually still solicited Epstein for funding and were friends with Epstein and just swept it under the rug. And what these emails show is Donald Trump was aware of what was going on, and that it was such a culture of abuse that people just thought, oh, this is just the way the world works. Well, their time is up. People are sick of it. Anyone involved in this stuff needs to move aside. We need to have a moral cleansing in this country.
And Congressman, just if this discharge petition goes through, as I think everyone can do the math and expect it to at this point, what ways might the White House and the administration have to wiggle around? Like, what do we expect potentially to see from them, assuming that they try to continue blocking access to some of those files? What could we expect in terms of their methods of blocking release?
Well, first of all, there's a full court press today to try to get one of these Republicans to drop before Adelita Grijalva gets sworn in at 4 p.m. I'm pretty confident.
I just want to help MAGA men who I know are lurking around listening. when I'm innocent, that's what I do. When I'm 1,000% innocent of crimes, I then engage in blackmail and coercion tactics to shut people up so the evidence proving my innocence never comes out. Are you with me, Magaban? Does that make sense? Or does that sound like the opposite of making sense? Which one? Read the Epstein files like I have, everything has either occurred in that weird, creepy ranch in New Mexico or Palm Beach or the brownstone in Manhattan, just to be clear. Like, that's what we're talking about. Crimes that occurred on U.S. soil. We can't, that's why the best, I am not telling you, like, my plan if I ever make the mistake of getting married. I'm just talking about documentaries. That's why the best place to unalive someone is on a cruise in international waters, because nobody has jurisdiction. Like, that's why. So, yeah, and I love how everyone's like, Trump's never been to the island. Well, it sounds like that might not be true anyways, but what we have always been dealing with is crimes that occurred on U.S. soil. You still can't get near the ranch in New Mexico. Yeah, and New Mexico's a very interesting place. It's funny, I've grown up in Phoenix, I was born in Phoenix, and New Mexico's a fascinating place with a wide range of people. Like, that's my take on that. Like, I would go into more details about how I feel, but yeah, there's like very rich people living there, very poor people, indigenous people. There's we're like poisoning indigenous people there with like chemicals being dumped. New Mexico is an absolute, it's a fascinating place. And there's a lot of rich people that have these compounds in New Mexico. Like Julia Roberts is one too. Like They
won't, but it's not done until 4 o'clock. And then Johnson has dozens of procedural motions. He can try to obstruct it. I mean, we could spend the whole day talking about
And that's the thing. Like, understand that. Remember when Mike Johnson changed the rules of Congress and declared all of Congress one long day? That was the first time they were going to get the discharge position and release the files. And what happens is, oh God, and I'm going to get this wrong. So like, just don't listen to the numbers. But when a discharge petition, which when we get to what I stayed up all night watching and clipping, the debates in the Rules Committee is the gateway to a vote on the House floor. Nothing happens unless it goes through the most powerful people in the majority in Congress in the Rules Committee. And the only method to go around people like Mike Johnson, and like, if anyone, you guys, if you have a couple extra dollars, spend that money on getting Mike Johnson like a second pair of knee pads. He needs extra padding. That man is doing crazy work on his knees. One pair of knee pads that Gavin Newsom is selling will not be enough. We should keep sending him extra pairs because he's wearing them out and he could double up on them and it might be more comfortable. His knees cannot. He's a pro. Stop it, Bunny. Stop. Yeah, or those Andrew Jacksons he's giving 24 hours a day. He probably needs wrist braces at this point. Like, I can't even. And he has several times already changed the actual rules of Congress. And like I said, the craziest one was when he said, Congress, there's no time. Like, Congress is just one long day. And why would he say that? Because once a discharge petition has the correct amount of signatures, God, I'm going to get this part wrong. How many days is it? Is it 7 days? You have to hold a vote. The only method to avoid the Rules Committee and force a vote on the floor is 218 signatures in a discharge petition. You collect the 218th, which is probably happening literally as we speak. And then yes, thank you. See, I don't need to remember things. You guys know more than I do. 7 days, literally, it's like a ticking clock, and you have to hold the vote in 7 days. And that's why, now it's coming back to me. I was like, when did Mike Johnson do this? Remember when the last time, and Lauren Boebert's been like scarily quiet lately. I'm worried she's going to fold like a lawn chair as she always does. But do you remember when Anna Paulina Lunatic broke ranks with MAGA, and that's the last discharge position? She went around like door to door to U.S. representatives and were like, sign my petition. This is crazy, because, you know, Republicans hate women, and it's not that they don't want, Republicans want women to have babies. They just don't want them to work. They want them to be subjugated to a man inside a house. And so the rules are that, like, you have to vote in person. Like, Anna Paulina Lunatic gave birth to a child and had to like show up 2 days later to vote. And so so she went. I've never seen her care so much about anything. She had all the signatures needed to force that vote to the floor. And Mike Johnson's like, there's no 7 days. Like, Congress is now just one long day, so that she never got the vote she wanted. So yeah, he can do these types of things. I watched him do it. So that is the other concern. If they can't blackmail Boebert or Nancy Mace into taking their names off, I'm sure they're going to tell Mike Johnson to do some sort of that type of thing, where they'll be like, there's no time, there's no actual calendar. Congress is now one long day.
He has. The confidence I have, though, is that there are a lot of Republicans who do not want the discharge petition tool to be rendered useless. They want to use it to get a bill on banning stock trading. They want to use it to get votes on other reforms. So I am hopeful the coalition will hold to say, no, you've got to bring this for a vote. Because if Johnson stops our petition from getting a vote, that will hurt Luna and Chip Roy and any Republican who wants to bring any bill using that mechanism.
Congressman, do you have any other plans to, public event awareness raising to sort of focus?
We can. We have the votes to stop Congress from, I'm sorry, I'm so passionate about stopping Congress from the insider trading. I actually think we do have the votes for that. That is one thing the far right and the far left agrees on. We need to stop the stock trading in Congress, and we'll see how it goes. I've heard there's plans, AOC, and, AOC is working with insider trader himself, Mark Wayne Mullen. Like, it's super crazy to be insider trading and then say you support stopping it. That's the best cover ever. Keep it going, Mark Wayne. Like, no one's ever going to suspect that you yourself are an insider trader. But on January 1st, or a couple days after, is when the Unusual Whales report comes out. It's like, that's my real Christmas. Christmas is not Christmas. Christmas for me is when the Unusual Whales trading report comes out, and we can all pour over it like last year and identify every congressperson who's outperformed the stock market and gotten rich because of it. I think that is a reasonable thing. I think we can actually do is stop Congress from stock trading. But the problem is we don't know who pretends to support that. It's like, oh yeah, Congress needs to stop that. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the last Unusual Whales report, and the way she talks, I would have never thought she was like using insider knowledge to play stock trades. She only did it once. It was literally one trade in her son's name, but yeah. Like even if she's doing it.
Scrutiny on the lack of transparency on the Epstein files and on the horrific abuse of these women.
We do. We have a press conference that Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I are planning next week, and a number of survivors from around the country are going to be flying in. Some who have not spoken out before. Mike Johnson keeps thinking, okay, if you just shut down Congress long enough, people are going to forget. But he doesn't realize that this story has gripped the American people. They know there was horrific acts that were committed. And I think when they hear from these women again, these brave women on next week, it's going to make sure that we have action and an overwhelming vote in the House of Representatives.
Well, please keep us updated as always.
Chris, in the comments, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? Can you stop terrorizing people because you're insecure about your own beliefs and things going on? Are you okay, Chris? Do you need a hug? Am I identifying this right? Is it Chris that's creating these problems? Chris, can you stop? You have a lot of feelings, and we do validate your feelings. Snowflakes. Oh, that's another feeling. Yeah, Chris, you gotta stop. Here, come up here, Chris. It's okay. Talk to me. Chris, you're calling people snowflakes. I thought that was something that happened in 2020. What's wrong, Chris? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm all good.
But why are you so mad? What's happening there, little guy?
Where did you get the impression that I was mad?
Well, you were having an emotional meltdown.
It really wasn't happening, though.
In the comments, it's all there. I've screenshotted part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
we can all just scroll back up.
Yep, let's scroll.
Chris, are you okay, though? Why are you mad at people?
Right thing.
What's happening?
Where was I mad? LMFAO usually means mad in your world.
Are you going to make it through this time?
I'm good.
But what is wrong? Are you upset because you're realizing you got God?
No, I'm just
do you
listening to silliness.
Do you stand 10 toes down in support of Donald Trump?
What do you mean? 10 toes down?
Oh, that's something the kids are saying these days.
Yeah, I'm 46. Don't do that shit with me.
Like, are you standing on it? Do you currently support Donald Trump as your Lord and Savior?
Absolutely, Lord and Savior. What the fuck?
You do.
No, I'm not religious.
Despite the fact that it's come to light that he absolutely has been involved in covering up his part in a 3 PDO cover-up.
PDO?
Yeah, you can't say certain words. Well, if you can't figure out what I'm saying.
I can't censor myself, and I'm not going to, so you might want to remove me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I'll listen the first time, Chris. I don't care. You're going to say a bunch of unacceptable words to get my live ban? Yeah, not interested. But here's the thing, Chris. I do know that you've been sitting in my comments, terrorizing people or bothering people because you have a lot of feelings. Do you see what I'm saying, though? Thank you, Chris, for proving my point. Not even child 3 PDO abuse will make these people come out of cognitive dissonance and idiocy. Because I thought when they realized that Trump was a grifter who actually was taking money out of their pockets, when they saw the transfers of wealth to the top of the economy, when they realized, hey, I'm literally being taxed without representation, that would be enough. Like, hey, they're robbing you. If I thought MAGA cared about one thing, it was money. But yeah, like, that's the really fascinating part about cognitive dissonance. They have no idea. Like, there is no level. Okay, like, who would Trump have to grape for you to care? Oh, I guess you'd have to believe women or children in that case. We got it, Chris. We get it. We see you. We see you. Don't change for anyone, not even a court order. no matter what happens or how dark things get, never ever stop supporting Donald Trump. A man who says men should not be wearing makeup and every day has a full face of makeup on. Makes perfect sense, Chris. We get it. We understand who you are now.
Congressman, when did you get this information?
We actually just received all of these emails, with a total of about 23,000 documents.
Chris, have you not seen the evidence? Is that why you sound like you have no idea what's going on? You haven't seen the evidence of Jeffrey Epstein, a very concerning journalist, literally game planning, like, hey, like, Trump is lying, and we can use that to leverage him because he absolutely knows what's going on. I think what the problem is like, MAGA, you guys can't read so good, so you're not going to know the evidence because you would have to be able to read. Like, I'm sure you can find a clip on YouTube where someone shows it and explains it to you, and then you can get around your inability to read. Like, literally choose the bear. Chris, I'm feeling you can read. So, I think you can sound it out. You can do it. You can get there. I have faith in you. I was a second grade teacher. I'll teach you to read.
actually a few days ago, so last week, and we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days. We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump's spending.
Are you hearing this, Chris? You don't have to read to hear. Are you a Sorry, I'm okay. It's fine. I thought I got a violation. I was like, I didn't say anything mean to Chris. Everything's fine. Just pause the live because TikTok Studio said the connection. Something weird is going on in TikTok Studio and Streamlabs.
Right now is that we want to know why Donald Trump spent the entire campaign saying that he would release the files. And now that he's in the White House, there is a massive cover-up going on. The survivors deserve the truth.
Congressman, when did you get this information?
Okay, Chris, I'm sorry I dropped you before. Now that I heard this clip, I do have some questions. Okay. So, you are aware, right? Like, when you voted for did you vote for Donald Trump both times?
No, this was the first time I voted for Trump. I was pretty much a liberal before.
Were you a burner?
A burner?
Bernie Sanders. Remember in 2016, he got robbed. He did get robbed. See, look at us, Chris. We're bonding. We're bonding over things. Okay, and I just would like to say Hillary Clinton was absolutely qualified, but yeah, the selection.
I disagree with that. Big time.
Okay. Well, listen. Here's the problem, Chris.
That was a big bullet.
This is just me giving you some advice. I'm talking about factually, right? Like, and it's the same problem you guys have with Kamala Harris, is Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, but more so Kamala Harris, is literally, if I just handed you a stack of resumes and I'm like, hey, these are every man who was ever president of the United States, and there's a couple extra baked in, tell me who's most qualified. Kamala Harris is pound for pound, job for job, job listing for job.
I would love a woman in the White House.
Okay, then start by listening when women speak. Okay,
I'm reading
she
some
is
comments.
the most qualified person to ever run for president. So,
yes, I would.
and the only reason I'm trying to, what is happening? My internet connection is fine, and I feel like, sorry, something is going on with TikTok Studio. Okay, but
you raise him.
Wait, hold on. Listen to me. We're bonding, Chris. Let's bond.
I'm just telling you.
Let's get vulnerable. Let's.
He keeps just chatting at me and fucking going at me.
Oh,
so
Billy Ray dipshit.
Billy Ray dipshit is a bitch.
You want to know something funny about Billy Ray? When I first got on TikTok, when I had like 10 followers and had never made a video, him and I were friends, and I have watched him for literally probably 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, he's incepting your brain. He drives MAGA people crazy, and it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, if it's working on you, just don't. It's okay. Just pretend like.
Kamala was such a scam, though.
Who was?
She was so bad.
What was a scam?
Kamala. I mean, she didn't even get through the primaries. She got anointed. And then you guys do the whole No Kings thing. It's absolute pure fucking hypocrisy.
Again, so and here we go, Chris. I'm going to validate all of your big feelings. You have feelings, and they deserve to be heard. And listen, Chris, I'm bonding. Let me bond with you. Let me bond. Why are you fighting it? Just let me bond with you. I'm trying to validate all your big boy feelings. The problem is that when you take
I'm really getting your chat going. God dang. I gotta be helping you out. So the chat is just insane right now.
I don't do this. I don't have people on my live. Actually, you're derailing me from my true purpose, which is teaching.
Mission objective.
Yeah, you said exactly. Running interference for a 3PDO is sympathizer and possible 3PDO if you have a brain is a super weird activity to engage in.
show it though. If Biden could have done it, they were released like what, February 2024?
Oh my God, okay, so none of you can listen. It's like almost like I already talked about this. Do you want me to help you through that? The only administration that has ever held anyone accountable for the 3 PDO ring, that happened under Biden's 1 4-year term. And that took years to hold Ghislaine Maxwell accountable, who Trump has put in a minimum security prison. She has a concierge service and a puppy now.
Yeah, she's got to be giving up something for that. That's gonna be. I can't wait to
well,
find out.
that's not the point, Chris. We're learning now. So the only administration that actually got justice for any of the Jeffrey Epstein victims was, in fact, underneath Joe Biden. But the real problem, because I don't like to say that because I think it's helping people create this unhealthy idea of what is normal. The truth is that the Department of Justice, for the entire time America has been a country, especially once we move into the modern era, let's say post 1964, has operated completely independently of the president. The president should not be saying, hey, you guys, I have a list of 26 enemies I would like you guys to railroad and indict. Right? Like, you should be more concerned about what Donald Trump is doing.
Let me ask you this then. Do you honestly think Biden was running shit?
Oh, wait, hold on. But I just want to be specific. Did you hear, and I mean this genuinely, can you be honest with me? Have you listened to a word I'm saying? Are you listening to me?
You don't like that I brought that up?
No, it's not. No, I'm glad I can follow that line of logic. What I'm trying to determine is if you are able to hear and process information.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so let's like, you seem to think it is a weakness to be like, hey, Biden should never, no president ever in the history of presidencies before the greatest grifter of all time, the least popular president. And did you know that? Now it's statistically true. He is the least popular president of all time. And you know who the second least popular
Kamala was
is?
supposed to win.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump in his first term.
He's supposed to win in a landslide. Same polls.
Okay. No. That's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with polls. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
No, I was following the polls. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, that's not
supposed to smoke that.
Yeah, well, any that's the problem with math, right? You want to talk about statistics. The problem with statistics is it's very hard to factor in, the institutional foundation of Western civilization, which is what? White supremacy and misogyny. Never underestimate idiotic, insecure men's ability to think that they know better. If you guys knew better, we wouldn't be in this situation. You guys are...
What situation are we in?
Are you... See, they can't read or do math. You're proving my point. So let me just ask, Chris, in your mind, is America doing well right now? Do you think that the economy is doing well?
I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. Securing the border was huge.
Well, every statistical graph would, math in general would disagree with you. But that's another feeling I validate.
How so?
I validate your feelings, Chris. They're just not actually mathematically accurate.
Yeah,
even finally, Scott Bessent had to say, yeah, I guess parts of our economy are in recession, which they've been for a while, but at least he finally admitted it on Sunday. You don't think Trump's effed over the farmers? Let me ask you, you're an America First guy, right?
Soybeans, the farmers seem to be happy.
Are you an
now.
America First guy? America First. Okay, so the government is shut.
I'm retired Air Force.
Okay, well, thank you for flying planes for us. That's cool.
Only 1% of the Air Force that does that. The other 99% just support.
I was trying to make you sound cooler than you were, and you won't let me. Okay, fine. I know. I was like, the percentage chance. I was born in Arizona. We have an astronaut / Air Force pilot for a senator. I know how few people do it. Our senator in Arizona, Mark Kelly, is a real Air Force pilot and astronaut. That's why we love him. And he has a twin that also has been in space. So suck it, Chris. Move to Arizona. Anyways, my point is, very simply, the economy is not doing well, right? If you believe it is, that's a feeling you have. It is not.
I mean, there was all that shit from the pandemic that takes time to recover, and that's generally where we're trending.
That's
in a good
not
positive
correct.
direction.
Okay. Jesus Christ. All of these. I don't know how to combat. Can I just, do you want to know the truth, or would you like to remain ignorant and just having
keep answering
feelings?
the questions and you keep
Okay,
getting
but
upset.
that's not true. So, okay. Listen, and I'll just tell you how to find this information because, well, first of all, chatbot DeepSeek, a 40-year-old quants trader from China, has made a chatbot called DeepSeek, which is brilliant and it's free right now. So it can do all your math and find information and cite sources for you. That would be my immediate recommendation. But if you look at The Economist, which is a very reputable financial publication, when Biden was leaving office and Trump had been reelected, it said, like, Trump has inherited, like, an economy that's on a rocket ship to the moon. We recovered from the pandemic, factually the best in the G7, right? The economy was humming along. It was going up into all graphs were going up and to the right.
2024 are you talking about?
Yeah, right when Biden left office. The literal headline or the front page up. Let's listen. The headline of The Economist was, like a rocket ship to the moon.
And they got an agenda.
Inflation. Let me help. No, they don't have an agenda.
Yeah.
But I wish I could be. I don't want to be mean. I'm going to try to.
This is the thing.
I almost said something mean too. Chris, listen to me. Every single thing, every single feeling you've had is factually incorrect.
Please,
Truly.
let me say this one thing.
No,
Please,
you've
just
said
this
a
one
lot
thing.
of things.
You're going to actually like it. You're actually going to like it.
I don't
Because
think so.
I can't wait for Trump to be gone. I
We don't
cannot
tap the screen.
wait
Let's get to 300.
for Trump to be gone. You heard me correctly. The reason why is because you fucking liberals cannot fucking do normal shit when he's around. You just can't. I mean, how many kids disappeared at the border during Biden's term?
Oh,
Was
I
it
can
80,000?
debunk that.
It was a ridiculous amount.
The same exact. Let me help you
And
with
yet,
that.
Trump
Can I debunk one of your lies? Every single every feeling you've had
under
is.
Trump's
Can I help
regime,
you? Can I
and yet
direct you
nobody
to
wants
an
to
article
celebrate
that could help
because
you
of their
debunk that
fucking
lie?
TDS.
Okay, so you do not want to learn the actual truth about that? Because I can help you. The same number of children that Trump lied and said were missing because of Joe Biden were quote unquote missing. They're not missing prior to that. You can Google all this and you can find fact checks. Up, Chris. Listen, I'm gonna help you embarrass yourself. I'm gonna help you.
It's on Biden. It's fucking on Biden.
Chris,
he opened up the border, and then that's where the kids got separated.
Chris, you're melting down. You're hysterical. I can validate your feelings. They're just not true. Can you let me finish so you can learn something? Those kids that you don't know how to research or figure out that's just something.
So they weren't at the border?
Chris, let me finish. Let me finish.
Were they not separated at the border?
No.
Yes, they were.
No. Okay, can I
Yes,
let
they were.
me just find the article and then I can read it to you. But actually, let me just tell you, because I already know I've reported on this and done a lot of research on it. So stop saying asinine things or I have to drop you and then I'll just explain it to people whose brains
I
work.
don't even want to. You can just go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I would leave too. Notice when someone is about to be told they're an idiot, they have to leave. I did not drop him. He dropped himself because he's scared. Anyways, I just want to be clear. Everyone should know about this because I am so passionate about protecting children, right? None of that is true. What is going on is that prior to even Joe Biden, there was I think it's something like 60,000 children who were not with their parents, who had been technically placed with some sort of, hopefully primarily a familial relation, someone that at least was related to them, but in some cases more like foster situations. And what they're saying is it's like calls are going out. It's like a call list. And if that caretaker, whoever the child was originally released to, doesn't answer the phone, then they go on a list of these kids are missing. Now, let me talk about child trafficking, because that's a really huge, important thing that Trump is enabling all day long. Look at red states and child labor laws. They have rolled them back. They have undocumented immigrant children working in factories, working in meat processing plants. Literally, they're about to crawl into the mines again because Trump's bringing back clean coal. I am very, very, very concerned about child trafficking. But what you are doing is you hear Donald Trump tell an asinine lie, and then you just parrot it as if it's gospel. Like, Gavin Newsom is selling knee pads, and you should get those knee pads to relieve the pressure on your knees when you are either giving BJ's or Andrew Jackson's to Trump, who has a full face of makeup on but continues to say men should not wear makeup. Not one thing you said was factually correct. And also, let me help you even further with what pisses me off. When you want to use children in an argument to try to prove that liberals bad, you don't give a f about children. None of you do. You don't give a f about it when they're pew-pewed down in schools. You don't care when they're trafficked and working in factories in red states. You don't care about children. Miss me with the BS. But you do use them as leverage. It's disgusting to see. And today we now know that Trump is literally involved in a 3 PDO cover-up, and you have the nerve, because your brain doesn't work so good, to show up here and use children as a human shield and lie about them and what's happening. Like, I should be surprised, but I'm never surprised by how dumb MAGA are. I would have ran too. But again, just like you don't care about the children who were abused in the Jeffrey Epstein 3 PDO ring, you don't care about the children who are actually being trafficked for child labor. Don't ever pretend to care about children. Guess you're not up to date on the news. The emails were a distraction. They meant nothing. Is that sarcasm? I truly hope that was sarcasm.
We actually just received all of these emails with a total of about 23,000 documents actually a few days ago, so last week, and we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days.
Funny. Thank you, Jen, for writing that comments. That is the the starting thesis and the end of every conversation. Smart people don't like me is the best quote of Donald Trump. And I always say this, I'm trying to help you mentally challenged, insecure men who are on your knees for Trump. You're wrong. And you have a supercomputer. You show up in lives to say embarrassing things that are untrue. You are literally on a supercomputer. You can find this information. You don't have to publicly humiliate yourself every single day. If that's me personally, I'm going to figure out what's going on because I don't like looking like an effing idiot, but I'll never, truly, it's fascinating to watch MAGA men be deeply, deeply idiotic, deeply insecure, and deeply wrong every single day of their lives. They're like, nailed it! The Bible says that I'm the head of the household. I would cling to, Flying Spaghetti Monsters, ramblings, too, if that was the only thing that ever validated that I wasn't an idiot.
We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing emails there about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now.
Not all the people can read for themselves, Robert, and that's what you guys aren't getting. We have a large group of insecure men who, in fact, cannot read. Cannot do addition and subtraction, cannot figure out who's robbing them. They're just like, these liberals, Trump said these liberals are stealing from me. Yeah, the call's coming from inside the house, and if I was being robbed and could not figure out who was robbing me, I might learn to read and to do math to figure it out and to stop blaming the wrong people. That might be something. Oh, I love Steph. Thank you for the super chat. She said, do me a favor and say, I'm not going to censor myself in your angry MAGA voice. Exactly. None of us should censor ourselves. Well, MAGA should, because none of it makes sense. And here's the best point, which I think it's like, sometimes I'm like, God, this is so simple. Like, we don't even need to go over it. Like, anybody could see that Trump is engaging in a desperate, panicked cover-up, and it's super weird.
Any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distraction from the government opening back up again. What's your response to that?
My response is simple. Then release all the files. If the president has nothing to hide, if the press secretary right there in her comments and statement, if they have nothing to hide at the White House or the Department of Justice, then all we want is for them to release the full files. It's very clear. You can't spend your entire campaign saying you're going to do something and make a commitment to the American people and then backtrack. And so we're going to ensure, one, we always are going to protect the victims and survivors. And if they want to clear the president's name, and more importantly, also all of the other men and powerful men that may have been involved, then release the files today. That should be the response from the White House.
President Trump has...
That's how logic works, Chris. Because everybody you're on your knees for, you are so sure you've spent your life giving Andrew Jacksons to rando Republican men who have assured you they're innocent, then this is how you confirm that, right? You don't engage in a cover-up. You're like, hey, I'm not a 3PDO, and this evidence will exonerate me. I mean, that's how a normal person's brain would work. And I wanted to just comment. I can't remember who said it, because I think it's an interesting point of view. Oh, peeps for peace. While Chris was gross, I expect that behavior from men like him. Women protecting Trump make me ill. Listen, I actually understand what you're saying. I was raised by one. But I mean, my mom has a complete lack of empathy. But the only food for thought I wanted to bring to this is for the women defending Trump who have empathy. It's a trauma response, right? Like, it's fawning, right? You always hear about fight, flight, or freeze. Like, women's number one survival mechanism is fawning, right? Like cozy up to the biggest abuser, so maybe they will hurt me less when it's time. When I was like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old in a very unsafe, very violent situation, I became like the expert of fawning, and I've had to literally like deprogram myself from it. Like, my instinct is always to like enter a room, identify the scariest monster, and go become their friends. When shit goes bad, they don't abuse me. I want to be clear, I'm not making excuse for these women at all. It is disgusting. It is. I have a problem with it too. I'm just trying to like offer food for thought, but also I can't stand those. Like, voting against your own self-interest because your husband told you to, or because you think like somehow I can't, or you're overly religious. There's all sorts of ideas I have about it, but yeah, I think the general idea is, if you are working against your own best interest, factually, mathematically, and in favor of being like, hey, I agree with you, I'm a pick-me, and somehow I hope you remember this when shit hits the fan. Yeah, like, that's a trauma response. And I say that because I had to deconstruct from those responses. I grew up around very scary people, and my instinct used to be like, hey, whoever the scariest person is, become their friend. So they don't hurt you. But it's not a good idea. I don't even know. Why can't I hear this? What is happening? Okay, I don't know what's going on there. This is what I want. I love this. I don't know if anyone's seen this. So Robert Garcia posted this in the morning. It goes through the emails. I just find it so funny. Like, this is posted to the Democratic Oversight account, which this is where we're at now. We're just like posting Trump's like 3 PDO emails.
Hey, it's Congressman Garcia. Now, Oversight Democrats just received a pretty large amount of new files from the Epstein estate. Some of the files and emails shed new light into the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So please take a look at these yourself.
Email number 1. In an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, sent on April 2nd, 2011, Epstein states, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked yet is Trump. Victim, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Email number 2. In an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff sent on January 31st, 2019, Epstein states, "Victim, Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever, of course. He knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." Email number 3. In an email from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein sent on December 16th, 2015, Wolff says to Epstein, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on a plane or to the house, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency."
As you can see, it's more critical now than ever that the Department of Justice release the full files. We need to know exactly what happened, what does Donald Trump know, and what is he hiding. Hey, it's
So again, if you continue to show up, and it does seem like it's like the effort to cover up and get on your knees for Trump, like all of these insecure MAGA men, like they're really going hard today. I find it disturbing that when it turns out he is complicit in a literal child trafficking ring, allegedly, that your response is to triple, quadruple down in defense of him. Like, and I already know. I know how MAGA men feel about women and about children. But yeah, I think it's good for everyone to see. We all know now exactly who you all are. And it's gross. It's very, 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 very gross. Like, here's an example. So this is, and I don't even know, this is a representative in Congress. I'm like, who the F is that? Here, let me show you how these people are running cover for Trump. Like, I could not fix my lips to say this type of shit.
All of that, I want to get your response to the breaking news we've been following this hour that the House Oversight Committee has just released emails showing that Jeffrey Epstein mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in various private correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell and the author Michael Wolff. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, good morning, Wolf. Great to be with you again. I think that we all know President Trump has been the most investigated person probably in the world over the last several years. And, of course, the information that was released.
That's a feeling this man had that is absolutely not accurate. But I do love when insecure men, like, state their feelings as if they're facts. Yes, tell us more about your feelings that there is no evidence to back up.
This morning by the Democrats. For one, I would say, it shows up on the day that we're going to open up the government again in the House. We're voting this afternoon. But also, the Oversight Committee, led by the Republican Chairman James Comer, is always going to be looking at the facts and whatever the facts lead. And again, as I say, President Trump has been the most investigated president that we probably will ever have. And so the fact that this information comes out today, I think is a bit ironic, but at the same time, any information that's released has to be taken seriously, and I know that the Oversight Committee will do that.
When all of that, I want to...
Okay, so, God, how embarrassing. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, and it's so interesting to listen to Republicans hit the bullet point talking points they were given. That's what you say. Say it's because he's most investigated and it's a cover up. No, these are factual emails that are in FBI files that are part of an investigation. Like, period. Trump ran on, I will release 100% of these files. Now all of a sudden you guys don't want the files? I thought you guys guys all wanted the files. The only people that continue to vote to release them are liberals, like Chris said. These liberals are up to something. Yeah, up to just trying to, you guys want justice, so do we. We're just trying to make it clear who's done what to whom. And it's super strange now that when you find out the man you support is involved in a cover-up of a 3PDO ring, that all of a sudden you are no longer interested in the files. That's super strange. It almost makes you guilty.
Lita Grijalva of Arizona, the Democrat, is sworn in later today, 2 months after her election, by the way. She's expected to be the 218th signature needed to force a vote to release all of the Epstein files. Do you think those files should be released?
Well, again, I think James Comer, the Oversight Committee chair, as well as the others who are responsible for these files, have done a very good job handling them methodically and making sure that the victim James Comer, Congressman Jim Jordan, they are the ones.
So we'll count on you then, Marlon Stutzman from God knows where, to sign the discharge petition. It sounds like you're a yes on the discharge petition, so that's another signature. Oh, I don't think that's what he meant.
That are truly handling this very well in the House of Representatives. Democrats are doing, their job, of course, as the opposition and making sure that information is out there. But again, I think that, it's interesting that they release those files today on the day that the government shutdown is going to end, and that it's a positive for Republicans that we're going to continue funding the government as we planned on, and that the government's going to be open. SNAP benefits are going to start being released back to the American people that were truly counting on them over the past month, and because the Democrats weren't able to get.
They aren't being released to people. That's part of the. This is. Like, can you imagine if someone sent me these bullet points and be like, hey, go on CNN and say this? I'd be like, no, thank you. Like, you need to find someone dumber to say these words that can easily be proven wrong. Like, what is this guy talking about? You think that the reason they had to release these emails because the government opened again today? It's because of the discharge petition and Trump trying to stop people from signing it. That's why. We are showing, I think it's super simple. We're showing the public, like, hey, Trump is deeply involved in this. You guys have said part of Trump's entire platform was I'm going to release. That was his point. Trump has done not one thing he said he would do. I mean, outside of violating the Constitution. And if you're a person who is dumb enough to be like, but he's rounding up the brown people, so that's what I was here for. Yeah, and making healthcare more expensive, making our taxes more expensive. I could explain to you why that's idiotic to feel that way. Quite literally idiotic, but that's another conversation. Trump has violated all of our constitutional rights in the process, also of making our lives harder by terrorizing brown people. So no, I don't see, especially since the Hispanic vote probably pushed Trump over the edge, and then to shit on them and violate constitutional rights and racially profile people is an interesting thing to see as a victory. But every single thing Trump said he would do. Well, I'm sorry. Trump said he ended the war in Ukraine. Can someone remind me what's going on in Ukraine right now? A war. Remember when Trump said he ended the India-Pakistan war, and then an hour later they started firing missiles at each other? Does anyone remember when Trump said, after Joe Biden negotiated a peace deal with Netanyahu before he left office, Donald Trump then tried to take credit for a different peace deal, and literally hours after that, Netanyahu was dropping heat-seeking missiles into Palestine? Like, every single thing that Donald Trump has ever said he was going to do, he has never done. Are we bringing prices down? Absolutely we are not. Not one thing And I need to understand, outside of like, this is my favorite guy to give Andrew Jacksons to. I love getting on my knees for men who say men shouldn't wear makeup, but also wear a full face of makeup every day. Outside of that, you'd have to explain to me what he's done for you. What is it? Chris, that was up here and had to run away in fear from having to listen to a woman correct his lies and feelings. What has Trump done for you? Tried to gaslight everyone and say Thanksgiving like dinner is 25% cheaper, which was another lie. All he's done is lie, gaslight, deflect, blame. He has done absolutely nothing for any of us. So it is fascinating to me, and that's the fascination of the patriarchy. I love when the patriarchy's like, we're not emotional. Anger is the most base, idiotic emotion. That's why infants are always screaming, right? They haven't developed their brain. All they know is like, I'm hungry, I'm screaming now, give me food. That's you guys. You guys are like infants who are like, I'm not emotional. Yeah. You guys are the most emotional people in the world. You guys are responsible for all the crime, or the vast majority of crime, the vast majority of unalivings. It's all based on your inability to control your emotions. Period. And the self-awareness is in hell with all of you. Yeah, I'm less hungry now. And I could really go into like a scientific thing about, we don't even have like free will. Like, this is all predetermined. What's his name? Professor Sapolsky. Like, there's this Stanford professor that talks about it. Like, how we're a sum total of our past experiences, not just our past experiences, but through epigenetics, our parents' past experiences. That's one of the things, like, his name is Robert Sapolsky. I'm picturing his book now. It is Robert Sapolsky. He's a Stanford professor, and he talks about how you're more likely to get a favorable sentence or parole if you see a judge after lunch and they've eaten. That's how serious it is. That like life is much more simple. MAGA tries to make it out like things are like, oh, we're playing 4D chess. You guys are just idiots that have no idea what you're talking about. Quite literally. I don't know how else to say it. Tammy, thank you for sharing the live. You're the best. Oh, this is an Epstein survivor. I forgot about this clip. I loved this clip. This is one of Epstein's victims. Like, just making sense.
Long established that Trump and Epstein had a close friendship, but now we're seeing kind of a deeper dive into what that might have looked like. And I think that it's important for us to remember that there were many high-profile men that were friends with Epstein. And I anticipate that, we might see more information coming out also about them.
It's still a little unclear what.
That's why, oh my God, I guess his name is King Charles now. That's why the British monarchy that won't go away has like pretty much, if you don't follow, I'm an Anglophile myself. MAGA men who are listening, you need to Google that. You don't know what that means. But anyways, for anyone that does follow news in different parts of the world, this is why King Charles has basically cut Prince Andrew off, because they know all of this is coming out. And they're like, not that you guys, you knew about it the whole time and you let him like profit off taxpayer dollars from the British Commonwealth while he was an absolute creep. But now that imminently he probably is going to be found out, King Charles has cut off Prince Andrew from any access to money that comes from being quote unquote a royal or doing royal duties.
Some of these emails mean. Epstein, again, writing in 2011 to Maxwell, quote.
Oh, and I want to say this in case anyone's clear. Not because King Charles is a good person, but because probably he's worried about liability and lawsuits. That would be my guess.
I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And then Epstein refers to a victim that, quote, spent hours at my house with him. In a separate email with author Michael Wolff in 2019, Epstein tells Wolff that Donald Trump, quote, explicitly knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Is this new information to you?
I don't think it's new information to any of us. I think that we have already seen that he may have had an idea of what Epstein was up to based on things that have already been released. His addition to the birthday book was telling. And I think that we're just seeing, like I said, we're seeing a deeper dive into what their friendship looked like.
The president, of course, has consistently denied having any knowledge or involvement in Epstein's crimes. Liz, what do you want to hear from the president now?
Well, it strikes me as odd that this was a campaign promise of the president and he has backpedaled on that. And so that's really concerning to me, and it's concerning to all of the survivors. We are victims of a crime, and the crime was sex trafficking, and we just want this crime to be prosecuted. Long established that
Truly. And I mean, it's not shocking that Trump has backtracked on a cover-up. I just want to address in the comments, someone's like, oh, you think King Charles is a good guy? No, absolutely not. I think the British monarchy is disgusting. I think any monarchy is disgusting, especially when they're taking taxpayer dollars from the British Commonwealth to engage in cover-ups of child sex trafficking. I think it is all disgusting and a blatant lie. And that's my point, is this is also one of the telling signs that all of this is true, is that King Charles is already doing damage control and cutting off his brother because he knows what's about to come out. This pact between rich people where it's hey, as long as you have hundreds of millions to billions of dollars, then you can victimize children, you can be into snuff films, you could do whatever horrible thing you want because you're rich, and there's a social contract between rich people that we protect our own. That is disgusting on every level, and it needs to stop. Trump literally ran on this shit. He knew he was complicit in it, and he was so confident he could cover it up, in my opinion, and literally gaslit and lied to MAGA. And imagine still being on your knees for Trump at this point. Imagine still being can't wait to give him another Andrew Jackson. That's MAGA men. And that is the character of so-called Christian nationalists. Think about this. These people have been, Pete Hegseth has been credibly accused. If you've been watching the People's Receipts for a while, I think in June I read, or wait, was it May or April? Whatever. Whenever Pete Hegseth was being confirmed, I was literally reading the 25-page police report from a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, rich Republican woman who made the mistake of working for the Republican Party and attending a Republican Party women's conference in Santa Barbara and was raped while her husband and kids were sleeping in a room waiting for her by Pete Hegseth, allegedly. And I mean very credibly allegedly. And nobody cares. Trump has gone out of his way to surround himself with men who abuse women. It's honestly a kink of his. Look at his cabinet. Almost every man in that cabinet has been credibly accused of assaying a woman or a child. He gets off on it. He's like, oh, my people are here now. And every minute, insecure, unintelligent MAGA men that you continue to show up in lives and co-sign it, we all know you guys are creeps. You literally reek of creepy, disgusting insecurity. I can't imagine. And I haven't personally had a child come out of my own body, but I am a former second grade teacher. The only people we need to protect our kids, and we always have to learn from the Republicans, they don't care about anyone but white Anglo-Saxon Protestant males who are definitely not gay. Add on that, not gay. Those are the only people they value. Everyone else is chattel slaves in their minds. It's gross. Oh, here is, what's her name? It's Anushka DeGiorgio. I love her name. This is another good clip. sorry, I did it again. Hold on.
Donald Trump. Is it right through Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did, yes, and I met him on several occasions. Ghislaine Maxwell did introduce me to him, and she introduced me to him with a clear message of my being with him in the same way that she had trafficked me and brought me to Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump.
I just want to be clear. I don't know if you guys have heard. I didn't screen record it, but maybe I will for tomorrow. Are you guys aware Trump's suing the BBC? This is the BBC. You can see right there in the corner for $1 billion. And to say the British government is angry, and I mean, I don't know what his weird false claims are, but it's because Epstein victims are going on the BBC and talking about him. Again, I just want, because I probably should have told you in the beginning that she's talking about Trump. This is why Trump suing, I mean, this is not why he says it is, but Trump no likey the BBC for platforming victims who are like, yeah, the same exact way I had to serve as Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trained me to do the same thing with Trump. I don't want to put words in her mouth, so let's just listen to her say it again. And again, Trump just brought a $1 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. It's insane.
Donald Trump. Is it right through Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did, yes, and I met him on several occasions. Ghislaine Maxwell did introduce me to him, and she introduced me to him with a clear message of my being with him in the same way that she had trafficked me and brought me to Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump. Is it right?
That's interesting. I too might sue someone for $1 billion after the truth about who I am started coming out. Which is, again, and here's the funny part about MAGA. Actually, let me help you with your logic. That is a sign of guilt. Just like it's a sign of guilt that he is literally trying to blackmail and coerce Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace to take their signatures off the discharge petition. Every single thing, and like Trump is not an intelligent narcissist. He's a dumb one, right? He just has one mode, Queen's mob boss. Like, that's it. He's just like, let me go leverage these people and threaten them. Like, that's quite honestly all he knows how to do, is to try to blackmail, coerce, leverage, threaten. It's the classic low IQ Queen's mob boss lesson. That's what you're watching. He is literally, they started platforming the Epstein victims, and now Trump is suing them for $1 billion. Yeah, I'd do that too if I didn't want my truth to come out.
Memoir comes out, obviously, after her death.
Anya is like, I can taste freedom. She's literally like, can you imagine? She's like, finally, I'm out of here.
Memoir comes out, obviously, after her death. What will we learn from the book that might have a corollary if and when the files are ever released?
I mean, the book is incredibly graphic. And if the files are released, and they are truly released, and they are unredacted, then you will see the names that are associated with those descriptions. And they're very powerful people. I mean, she was trafficked to incredibly powerful people, as many as 36 men. And I think it would be jaw-dropping for both political parties. And, you can read and you can figure out who these people are. And
I would bet my life, and this is a thought exercise we used to do when I was a philosophy major for 1 year. That decided to be a history major. But like, if someone was holding a pew-pew to my head and said, right now, guess yes or no about if you think this is true or not, and if you're wrong, we pull the trigger. Of course, like, when she says both parties, oh yeah, like, Bill Clinton, I mean, and this is my opinion, but I've never been more sure someone was a child trafficker in my life than I feel about Bill Clinton being one. And like and I mean this because I just watch people, like I'm not going to say who said this to me, but this is a pretty popular creator on TikTok, a very popular creator. I don't hang out with a lot now. But one of the arguments we got into was because I was just like, hey, I see you and like, I think some of the things you're doing are bad. Like, and then he's like, you don't know me. I've never told you anything about me. You don't know who I am. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need you to confess to anything for me to recognize a very clear pattern of behavior, right? Like that term of don't listen to what people say, watch what they do is the truest thing in identifying an abuser you will ever know, right? Don't listen to one word, watch the pattern of behavior. Everyone's pattern of behavior tells the story of who they are. You don't need to gaslight me, like tell me a bunch of lies and schmooze me. I have watched who you are. You have a very distinct pattern of behavior, as every human does, and that's the truth. And it's the same of Donald Trump. Like, if you are still, and that's what, no offense, Chris, or whatever his name was that came up here, but like, the fact you are still parroting lies that Donald Trump told you, and you're not just watching his pattern of behavior and understanding very clearly, it's not possible at this point. Let me say that in a more accurate way. It's statistically very not likely that Trump is ever being honest about anything. And the fact that MAGA is still like, hey, I came up on this live and I've been terrorizing people in the comments. I'm going to just repeat something Trump said because he would never lie to me. After I gave him a Andrew Jackson, he said he wouldn't lie to me, so I believe him. So he said everything's going to be okay and he never robbed me. Well, okay. Well, every action Trump has taken in his second term is contrary to what he told you when you were giving him a Andrew Jackson. But, go off, King. Whatever. Keep getting robbed by the same person. And it's the same thing with this. It is so fascinating to watch these. Think about Trump's pattern of behavior around the Epstein files. It is a cover-up. Every action he takes is to blackmail, coerce, or threaten someone into silence. Now remind me, because I know Chris was saying, these liberals are up to something. Were we up to something when we met with the survivors, as did Republican women who Trump is now trying to blackmail and coerce in the White House to take their names off the discharge petition? Was it a lie when Nancy Mace ran out of that hearing with Epstein victims sobbing when people were physically disturbed? We begged Trump to meet with the survivors and validate them. And you know what he said? No. F you. And that's the other reason. If you are a MAGA, insecure, low IQ weirdo who happens to have a daughter, and you are still going along with this, shame on you. Shame on you. 1 in 3 women in America are SA'd. Literally 1 in 3, and multiple times. Like, that's what's not clear in that statistic is it doesn't happen once. It happens multiple times to all of us. And you have the nerve to have a daughter and be like, yeah, this creepy S-predator, I'm not only backing him and giving him Andrew Jacksons full time, I'm also trying to indoctrinate my innocent child into this same cult where they will not be safe. Great parenting. Keep it up, MAGA. You guys are doing an amazing job. You know who also has a large concentration of S-predators? The Christian church. Praise the Lord. Praise him. Let's all take a moment to praise the Lord. Because isn't that what they always say? God doesn't... Oh, wait, no. Let me tell you. This is my biggest pet peeve. After I was SA'd as a child in an evangelical mega church in Arizona, And then I tried to tell my parents, they gaslit, or excuse me, not my dad. He would have actually been in jail for murder. So I tried to tell my narcissistic mother, and she gaslit me and yelled at me and said that I was trying to take attention away from her. True story. My entire life gaslit me about it. And she's like, you're just trying to make a problem where there is none. Mind you, the only reason I ever admitted it to her and what had happened is because she had my father beat the shit out of me because of it. Like, I came home or got in the car, like my parents would go to adult church and, you know, kids go to Sunday school. And I was like 7 or 8. I was 7. I was a really young kid for my grade. I think I was in 3rd grade, but I was 7. Anyways, I get back in the car. And my dad is like, we're going to have a talk when we get home. You're in so much trouble. And when my dad said things like that, you're not going to be physically okay after the quote unquote talk. Like, I already knew, like, I'm going to die. The reason the talk had to happen is because my mom, I was coming, because there was like different levels in this church, and I was coming down the stairs from Sunday school, and she's staring up at me from the bottom of the stairs, and I don't have underwear on. I'm a 7-year-old with no underwear on. And what would you think a normal parent would do in that situation? Right? Like, you would probably go find out what had happened. But I got the shit beaten out of me because it was my fault, as I was informed. So watching MAGA men lie, gaslight, defend child abuse, it's nothing to me. Like, none of this will ever surprise me. That's why I tell you guys, like, I was built to fight Trump. Like, I was literally born into it. Like, never underestimate how much insecure, unintelligent men will band together to gaslight and protect each other when they're all abusers. Like, it is extreme. I'm not saying this so you guys can feel sorry for me. I'm saying this to prove a point. Like people like whatever that guy's name was that came up here. That's what, and it might seem extreme to draw this conclusion, but yeah, like, he's complicit in covering up children being abused. 100%. Every single person that continues to defend Trump is literally covering up the abuse of children, and I will never forget it. I took a screenshot of whatever that guy's name's profile. Every single one of you that continue to cover up the abuse of children, people don't forget, especially people whose brains work. Mine does. My brain works. And I will always remember that when children needed you to stand up for them, you're like, excuse me, I'm too busy. I got to give Orange Jesus a handy. Like, imagine that. And then having the nerve to say the party of caring about children. Yeah, keep it up, guys. Nailing it. Nailing it.
It's going to be really hard for Republicans in a few weeks to vote against releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files, especially now that the House Democrats have released an email directly connecting a victim of Jeffrey Epstein to President Trump. In Jeffrey Epstein's own words, he's surprised that the police chief did not go after Donald Trump. He said that he spent hours at his house, right? And then there are emails between Epstein and Michael Wolff in which Michael Wolff is telling him to use it as leverage over President Trump. He's also saying that, you know, if you do this, then maybe Trump will clear your name, say you're a nice guy. He can say you're just a victim of political correctness. Why is a journalist giving a pedophile public relations advice? It makes me very suspect.
We need to probably get a sign-up sheet and schedule a 24-hour rotation to keep an eye on Michael Wolff, because I guarantee you this man needs his hard drive checked and he is up to something. I'm telling you, I didn't take the only class where I learned something I still use in college to learn nothing. I'm literally the FBI agent that led the class was like, you should be an FBI profiler. Like, it's not hard too. It's super easy. Like, Michael Wolff is, I'm not going to do it, but if I did that same exercise and we used to do in philosophy class, like where it's like, hey, someone's holding a pew-pew to your head. Hey, is Michael Wolff complicit in similar things to Jeffrey Epstein was? And if you guess wrong, we pull the trigger. Of course, I'm guessing yes. Like the probability is there. It's Michael Wolff has been on all over. Like, think about it. Like all these interviews on every major network on the internet saying, "Oh, like I know all these things." Yeah, you knew all these things, and you were being read into them and talked about because you're one of them. Now I fully get it. Who in the strategizes with the 3PDO of how he can leverage information about other powerful 3PDOs to get out of accountability? That is what one of these emails is Michael Wolff strategizing with Epstein about Trump being, complicit in 3PDO stuff and how they can leverage his guilt to free Epstein. Now, you tell me if someone who is not a 3PDO and a reputable journalist, like I took journalism, that's another class I took and never followed through on because there were too many rules. That is the most unethical shit you could ever do in journalism. Michael Wolff is not a journalist. He's a friend of 3PDOs, and then you have to be like, hey, like why if he was not involved in any of this, why would they trust him with this information? And the probability of Michael Wolff being trusted with any of this information without in some way being complicit seems highly unlikely to me. Highly unlikely. But I'm just a person who can think logically and can read and do math, which, makes me smarter than all MAGA men. But women shouldn't have the right to vote because women are always up to something and they have too many emotions and feelings. And when women vote, their emotions get involved. And that's why there needs to be one male head of household, and that one man decides who the house is going to vote for, because women get too emotional. And they think too much, and we got to put a stop to women's brains working. Literally. Hold on. And I don't want to do this, but I'm just, because I think there's probably people in here who are like, what the is she talking about? I promise you guys, I'm not going to scar anyone. Again, I'm just going to play one clip to prove my point. The guy who runs Trump's entire office, his name is Russ Vought. He's the architect of Project 2025. You know, the thing Trump said he would never, ever enact. And he's enacted like 40-something% of it. Those people. I just thought maybe it'd be a good idea to just... since this is the first one I came upon, here's one of... I was going to show you Russ Vought's bestie, Joel Webbin, saying this, but here's Dale Partridge, another bestie of these people who are all up in the White House.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration and the welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote. Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mondami, won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America, but why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and to feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the...
That's true. Why are you all so dumb? Can someone answer me that? Like, this is my real problem. And I mean that. I wish I could take a day off. I don't want to be the smartest person in every room. I would like to take a 5 and be like, okay, insecure white men, they've got this, like, their brains are firing on all cylinders. They can make good decisions. If any of this is true, why are you guys so dumb? Why? Why do you guys know nothing about anything? Like, truly, I'm asking for a friend, and that friend is all women everywhere. If you guys, if this is true, and we're all supposed to be subservient to men, why are you all so dumb? What is happening? Why you guys don't know anything about anything? You guys can't read, you can't add, you can't correctly identify who's robbing you, and I'm supposed to sleep well at night, like letting you all be in charge? You guys can't be in charge because you're too dumb. Truly, you guys could not find your way out of a paper bag if your lives depended on it, and the Lord wants you all in charge. I'm gonna have to respectfully call bullshit. Like, what the are you talking about? You guys are idiots.
Family in the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern a nation. Statistically,
Emotions can't be what's used to rule a nation. Let me think about that. The number one base emotion, if you knew anything about anything, is anger. That is the constant emotion being displayed by men. That's why men are responsible for the vast majority of crime, of unalivings, of S abuse, of pedophilia, all of it. It's all men. And that's because you guys are angry and deeply insecure. So I agree, emotions should not rule government. And most wars have been started because some deeply insecure man was challenged. Like, you are making my point that overly emotional people shouldn't be in charge. And that's you. That's all. You guys are, it's you.
and generally speaking, women vote for whatever feels most kind or peaceful or safe to their emotions. Women crave security and comfort, and whoever promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26% more likely.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to stop it there. I was actually trying to, but if you were not here on Friday, the first time I was forced to show people how dumb and insecure men are, you know me, an actual former historical researcher who got, beer money in college from doing that. I went on Google Scholar. I tried to find any relevant attributable study that said what he said. None of it exists. The only thing I could find that could explain that lie he made up was... Yeah, I'm so disappointed in dumb men on the right. Like, why are you guys so dumb? Wikipedia. The only thing I could find that could make sense of this lie he's telling is Wikipedia says men are twice as likely to go out and cheat on their wives. So I'm like, in his mind, he's turning that around and saying, okay, if men are the aggressors, then women are being seduced into affairs. I looked for hours. Like, I used Google Scholar. If there was any reputable study available that would make sense of this insecure weirdo, I actively looked for it. And that's the only thing I could think of is like, if you just go, this guy's on Wikipedia. Yeah, tell us more about how much you don't know, sir. Like, we're fascinated listening to how deeply insecure you are about women who know more.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why.
Sorry, I'm fast.
Promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26% more likely to be financially scammed online. They are 3 times more likely to fall prey to psychics and tarot card readings and astrology and mediums. The same emotional vulnerability that shows up there.
Christian nationalist men believe a flying spaghetti monster died on a cross for their sins, ascended into heaven, and somehow made them the chosen people, even though every single portion of the Bible and the area in which it was written is about non-white men. But let's not ever go into the facts of the delusion and lies that white men continue to tell us. Yeah, if Jesus Christ was now somehow God, or Jesus the Father and the Holy Spirit exist, whatever weird things you have to gaslight yourself into, none of anything in the Bible has ever involved a white man. Period. End of story. And that's because I understand maps. and geography and the people that lived in those places. So you have not been chosen for anything. If in fact the Bible had any validity, then the last people that God would be choosing, in fact, would be white men. But go off, King. Let's hear more about your insecurities.
Also shows up in politics. Many call it suicidal empathy. So I believe that we should return to the household vote, where women share their thoughts with their fathers or their husbands, and the men in their life make the final decision. Men are not perfect, but they are far more fit to rule with logic, and they are less likely to be deceived in political matters. So I don't believe that we should repeal the 19th Amendment.
Less likely to be deceived in political matters. Like, right after you made this video, were you on your knees giving Trump a Andrew Jackson or a BJ? Like, is that where you came from to film this video? You guys are so dumb. Are you okay? Are you okay, sir? You guys are unequivocally the dumbest people in this country. We're being deceived. What you claim is women being hysterical or being deceived is us just being like, hey, we noticed that, like, everybody in this country is supposed to have certain unalienable rights, and, like, I'm just here to gather mine. You know, like healthcare. I would like to have healthcare without creepy, insecure white men getting involved in it and all that stuff. Yeah, it actually is proof. It's so funny because it's like, if you can follow a line of logic. Did you hear him saying men can follow a line of logic? Not that weirdo that was on this live. He couldn't. He could not, if his life depended upon it, could not have followed a line of logic. So, miss me with the BS. The most educated cross-section in America is black women. I was about to say thanks, Obama, but that's not, I'm not saying that it's because of him. I just like to say that to piss them off. Like, thanks, Obama and Joe Biden, even though it's not really about that. But truly, like, how insecure do you have to be? Like, how committed? Can you imagine? Like, you guys are not well. Here's what truly intelligent people don't need to do is make psychotic, rash, generalized statements to make themselves feel like their D is bigger. That's what we don't have to do. Some of us, like, are busy reading and doing math. But I just wanted to show you guys this so I can explain to you why. Never expect an insecure, lost Republican man to do the right thing, including, and I know this is crazy to even have to say, but including and up to when it's about children being trafficked. If you don't care about women being raped and essayed, and not just don't care, you delight in it. You sit there and praise Trump and shit on women who people have been, he's been held liable in court for essay, and there's the, like, hold on, I want to get the word right. MAGA, you won't know what this means, but you can look up the definition later. There is actually probably beyond, but I think the actual legal standard for civil trials, no, maybe that's wrong. It's a preponderance at this point of evidence of exactly who Trump is, how he treats children, how he treats women, and the things that have happened. And if you continue to deny that that's the reality, then we're going to have to check your hard drive. You are a creep. Period. No, I say women because Trump has raped women as well as children. I make the distinction, children, women. There were adult women, I believe 26 technically, that have brought credible cases against him for essay when they were adult women, and then the child thing is a whole nother portion of that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to even say girl, because, like, I have arrested development due to the trauma subjected on me by my parents. So in my mind, I still am kind of a girl. Like, I probably am like 13 in my head. So I don't even like to say that. We're talking about children. And when I say women, I am talking about adult women who also were assaulted by the same person, allegedly. So, yeah, like, I literally said that. Thank you, loud liberal lashes. I've seen so many MAGA already making excuses for the new episode. Yeah, like, And if anyone's surprised by that, don't be surprised. This is who they are. We are chattel slaves to them. They are working towards making it harder for us to vote. So we all just have to, I guess, marry one of them. I choose death. I love how he was saying, what did he say in the beginning? Hold on. I need to remind myself what he said in the beginning.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration and the welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote. Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mondami, won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America, but why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and to feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the family and the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern.
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Women are too emotional. And I cannot stress this enough. I was a Division I scholarship athlete. When you're a fall sport, you're not allowed to leave during the summer. And all of the fall sports like football, volleyball, soccer, blah, 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 we all have to condition together in the summer. And you know who was always the first to start sobbing? Men. Who were the first to start throwing up and crying and begging for their mothers? Men. Who missed all the run times, so we had to keep running until they got themselves? Men. I'm promising you this. Women have much higher pain tolerances. We have been put through much more pressure and abuse at younger ages. Men fold like lawn chairs in every situation. And it is fascinating to watch. I can smell your insecurity through the fucking phone. Are you okay? Are you okay? Because real men, and let me help you with this. My first relationship was with a professional baseball player for 10 years who was pretty famous, and never once would you hear him saying something like this. We were equals. I beat him at most sports. Nobody insecure loser speaks of women this way. Period. I've never. Real men who are go to sleep at night and they're I'm a man and I know it. Never speak of women in this way. You reek of insecurity, MAGA. It is wafting off you. And then you cry and you're I'm going to the far right and I'm going to complain about women not wanting to have sex with me. Yes, gather together with all other insecure weirdos and figure out why no one wants to have sex with you. I think you don't need to spend that much time on it. I think the answer is simple. You're a loser. That's what it is. And let me help you. If you want to change the patriarchal system, which it sounds like you guys are trying to use to subjugate people, and you no longer want to live under the tyranny of patriarchy, which is absolutely hurting you as well. That's why you feel this way. That's why you feel insecure. It is patriarchy, right? The shit rolls downhill, punch down, right? Men, as Bell Hooks always correctly identifies, are the first victims of the patriarchy. If you want that to change, you don't abuse women more. You do some reading and some research and you take a look at things and you change the system, period. Because you are victims of the patriarchy. This idea that you're not anything. I am, and I want, when I gaslight men on the right, that's what I'm using. I'm using the literal patriarchal structure to shame you. And if you want me to stop, then my advice to you would be dismantle the patriarchy. And then maybe we could all be equals. But it's a gift and a curse for some of you. You want to use it to make women feel bad, but it's not going to work with me. You guys are all losers. Anyways, I've got to go because I just got a text from my father and I got to go make sure he's okay and make sure he checks his insulin. And tomorrow, like my friend Felice says, punch up. Exactly. Tammy, have you been listening? See how women can listen and receive information? You will never catch me punching down on anyone. The whole goal of the patriarchy is like, someone made me feel insecure. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to look up and I'm going to attack the person who attacked me, you guys are like, okay, someone made me feel bad. Let me look down here and find another smaller person who's vulnerable that I can victimize. That's who you guys are. You're always punching down. You will never catch me punching down. I punch up. And I am a formidable foe. Like, you guys are losers, truly. Whenever you guys start taking on real opponents, not shitting on women or brown people or minorities who have had no rights for their entire lives, have not been able to amass any wealth, maybe, just maybe, we won't see you as insecure idiots. Punch up. Attack Trump for lying to you, for stealing from you, for grifting, for disillusioning you and selling you a dream that will never come to fruition. But you'd have to be brave to do that. And MAGA men are insecure, uneducated, illiterate cowards. And on that note, tomorrow we are going to go through the debates in the Rules Committee because I really want everyone to know exactly how Trump is